and good evening, baseball fans, with Buck Martinez and Ron Darling. Great to have you back at Fenway Park. Last night, a 5-4 win by the Angels. Ron Darling has the Angels within one win of sending this thing back to the West Coast. And tonight, they send John Lackey back to the mound. He pitched well in Game 1, but took the loss. He'll try to turn it around quickly tonight.
Well, he's been their ace for the last 5 seasons. John Lackey, one of those guys that has struggled in his career against the Boston Red Sox, but he can take solace. On July 29th, he took a no-hitter into the 9th inning here before losing it. He's one of those guys that has pitched big games before. Remember, as a rookie in 2002, he started the 7th game and won the World Championship for the Angels.
Well, Ron and Buck, the Boston Red Sox trying to take over this series and win it outright at home. Got terrible news today. Mike Lowell has been disabled for this series and the next. Should the Red Sox advance, they will try to be picked up by the young left-hander John Lester, and Dustin Pedroia's got to pick it up as well.
Well, they sure do, and both of these guys are really integral parts of this ball club. John Lester has not lost at Fenway Park since April 9th against the Tigers. He's won 11 straight starts, and he expects to get some offensive support from his second baseman, Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia hit .326 this year and had 213 hits during the regular season, but he's still looking for his first hit in this series. In Game 2, he made a bid for a home run. Garrett Anderson brings it back in the ballpark. In Game 3, he hits a shot right at Sean Figgins, who throws him out. He has been swinging the bat very well, but he has yet to get a hit. He is 0 for 13 in this series. He wants to be a factor on offense as well.
Well, the Red Sox want to close it out. They know they have a date perhaps with the Tampa Bay Rays, who are in the ALCS. The Angels want to win tonight, send it back to Anaheim for a potential Game 5 out on the West Coast. Beautiful cold night at Fenway Park, and we'll have starting lineups right after this. Another cold and breezy night in Boston tonight. Here's your weather. 49 degrees, wind chill at 46 because the wind out of the northwest at 9. Forecast for cloudy skies all evening long. It was very dewy in the outfield. Caused some problems for the outfielders for Game 3. We'll see if there are any issues tonight for Game 4 as we check in with our other colleague tonight, Craig Sager. Hello, Craig.
With Mike Lowell disabled for this series and the next one as well, you have to feel sorry for Mike. But at the same time, a roster spot was available, and you have to be happy for Gil Velasquez. This is an 11-year career minor leaguer, 983 games in the minor leagues before he's finally called up by the Red Sox on September 25th. Came in as a pinch runner, actually has 1 major league base hit in 8 at-bats. But he's a versatile player, plays 5 positions in the minor leagues. He's also from California, so Terry Francona let him travel with a team to LA. He came back here, and with Lowell disabled, finally, after all those years, near 1,000 minor league games, Gil Velasquez is in the right place at the right time.
As are you, as always, Craig. Look forward to hearing from you tonight as we check out the Angels lineup. Another must-win situation if they're to force a decisive Game 5. Sean Figgins leads off at third base. He'll be followed by Garrett Anderson in left. Mark Teixeira's had a whale of a series. He's the number 3 hitter with Vladimir Guerrero, the Angels DH. Torrey Hunter will play center. Mike Napoli hit a couple of home runs here last night. Juan Rivera's in right field. Howie Kendrick hits 8th at second base, and Eric Ibar is the shortstop, and he will bat 9th. John Lester, guys, a 16-game winner in the regular season, was overpowering at times in Game 1.
Well, what a last 12 months he has had. He pitched the deciding game against Colorado. The Red Sox won the World Championship. Threw a no-hitter, the 18th in club history in May, the first of a lefty since 1956, and now trying to win his second postseason game of this series. You see his scouting report, cutter, curve, and change. Angels have a little more information. Lester's a different pitcher than they saw early in April and May, and he can be overpowering at them. We talked about it before. 11-1 this season.
So Lester's ready to go. So's this big Fenway crowd. They were stunned last night. A game started by Josh Beckett, who was pitching hurt. I think that's pretty clear. Beckett gutted his way through 5 innings, allowing 4 runs in the game. It was a battle of the bullpens. Both of those core are tired tonight. It'll be very important, Buck, for Lester and for Lackey to take this thing as deep as they can tonight in Game 4.
Absolutely. The bullpens are all available, but they have been worked a lot.
The first pitch of tonight's game is high to Sean Figgins, and Game 4 underway at Fenway Park. Figgins had hits in his first 3 at-bats here last night. And he bounces that ball to Pedroia at second. Ground ball out for Lester. That's an encouraging sign for him. 1 out.
Well, the defense is going to be a factor here tonight. It's cold, it's breezy, and in the outfield they've got 3 Jackrabbits that can cover a lot of ground in this spacious ballpark. Jason Bay, Jacoby Ellsbury, and J.D. Drew in the outfield. A lot of speed, great range, and they play very well at home. On the infield, the difference is Kevin Youkilis. He's over at third base, taking over for the injured Mike Lowell. Jed Lowry's at shortstop, Pedroia's a second baseman, and Mark Kotsay gets his second start in this series.
Garrett Anderson, the Angels left fielder, hits second again tonight. And he quickly falls behind Lester. No balls and a strike. Keep an eye on the leadoff situation in this game. Game 1, Lester really shut down what the Angels love to do with their attack. Lester and the rest of the Boston Relief Corps retired every leadoff man in that 9-inning game out west. A good start tonight, ahead 0-2.
Well, Anderson is usually a very patient hitter, swinging at that first pitch. They saw Lester in that first start, only walked 1, so they know that he throws lots of strikes, going to have to be aggressive early.
Anderson 3 for 15 so far in the series without a homer and without an RBI.
I think one thing we're going to watch for tonight, because it's cold, it's dry, I think the pitcher's grip on the breaking ball will be a real important factor. Whether or not they can get a grip on their breaking pitches to have that be an effective pitch for them tonight.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Anderson couldn't check his swing, and Lester retires the first 2 easily. Mark Teixeira, the hitter, as we remind you, the TBS MLB postseason's brought to you in HD by DirecTV, delivering the most sports in HD. Mark Teixeira, 7 hits in 13 tries in this ALDS. But as productive guys as the middle of the order has been as far as hits are concerned, not much power and not many RBIs.
Now, when you look at the middle of the order, they're getting a lot of hits, but they only have 1 extra base hit. And that's a big problem. 4 RBIs, 3, 4, and 5 in the order. They need to do a little more damage, but it's all apparent on the guys getting on ahead of them. Vladdy Guerrero has the 1 double in this part of the lineup. Everything else has been a single.
Teixeira switch hits and grounds again to second. Third hop. Pedroia's got it. 3 up, 3 down for Lester, who tries to finish the series at Fenway Park. 3 up, 3 down for the Angels in the top of the first. Now John Lackey to the mound, and he will face this Boston lineup. If the Red Sox win, the series comes to an end tonight. Jacoby Ellsbury has been awesome at the top of the order. He'll be followed by Dustin Pedroia. He's 0 for 13. Wow. David Ortiz hits third. Then Kevin Youkilis, the cleanup man, at third base with Mike Lowell hurt. J.D. Drew is back in there in right field. Jason Bay at left. Mark Kotsay gets the start tonight at first with Jed Lowry and Jason Varitek hitting 8th and hitting 9th. John Lackey, 6 2/3 innings, just 2 runs, 4 hits, guys, in game 1. The decisive blow, that Jason Bay homer.
Boy, he really had a good game. That really was his only mistake, and he has pitched well this year. Of course, the tall Texan right-hander has good stuff, and he has been their ace since he's been in the big leagues.
And Jacoby Ellsbury starts off with a quick called strike, and Lackey's game is underway.
Well, we talked about it. The curve and the slider are going to be the most important pitches if he can get them over in this crisp air. Fenway Park has been awfully tough on John Lackey.
Ron, talk about the grip for a pitcher on a night like tonight. Dry, crisp. Does the ball get extra slick?
It does. You have to. First, you want to ask the umpire, can I blow in my hand? That'll give you some extra moisture, of course, on your fingers. The thing I used to do on my long sleeves, now Lackey does not have sleeves on, I would wet the bottom of my shirt and go to that with my fingers so I get a little bit of moisture that I could use. Not to throw a spitter, but to get some moisture to grip the ball.
2 balls and a strike. A little tapper. Lackey has had some trouble fielding his position, but not this time. And Ellsbury is retired to start the bottom of the first.
Well, the Angels have committed 3 errors in this series. The outfield play has not been good. Anderson, Torrey Hunter, and Juan Rivera, they've all had their problems. Around the infield, Figgins and Ibar have been pretty good on the left side. Kendrick and Teixeira has been exceptional at first base. And Mike Napoli behind the plate. He's the horse. He's the everyday catcher for this team. He and Jeff Mathis split time early on, but now it's been all Mike Napoli here in the later part of the season.
Well, here's the real head scratcher. Dustin Pedroia, who had such a magnificent regular season, doesn't have a hit in the series. 0 for 13. And a pop up right side. He should be 0 for 14. Ali Kendrick is there. And a quick second out for Lackey.
As Ron mentioned, Lackey pitched a no-hitter into the 9th inning, 1 out in the 9th inning, and I asked Dave Magadan, the hitting coach, what was so effective for Lackey during that game. Magadan said he had a little extra fastball. He actually threw a lot of fly ball outs in this ballpark, which is unusual. But he said on that particular day, Lackey had so much confidence in his fastball, he was pitching up in the zone very effectively.
Is it true, Ron, that pitchers don't like seeing the same team in back-to-back starts, and that's the case now for Lester and Lackey in this playoff set?
Of course, and especially when you're facing some teams that have more veteran presence. Facing a guy like David Ortiz back-to-back 8 at-bats or so is always a difficult proposition.
So how do you change, or do you change your game plan from start to start in a short series?
If you have outstanding stuff, you can say to yourself, my stuff is better than what they have, so I can go to my strength. If you don't, then yes, you have to change how you pitch guys. Say David Ortiz is up here in the first inning. I don't know if I want to show him how I want to get him out later in the game with ducks on the pond.
Yeah, oftentimes younger pitchers will throw all of their pitches in the first at bat and have no surprises for late in the game.
2-0 count to Ortiz, and that's in for a call strike. And Ortiz, a guy that Lackey's had trouble with, including postseason. Ortiz, 13 hits and 38 at bats. 3 of those hits left the ballpark. Ground ball into the shift. Easy play for Ibar, and it's 1-2-3 and out for the Red Sox. The scoreless duel has begun in Game 4 at Fenway. Scoreless game as we head to our second inning tonight in Boston. At MLB Postseason en Espanol. Live MLB Postseason Spanish language feed is available via SAP. Vladimir Guerrero put on a show during batting practice. And he starts off the second with ball 1.
A lot of times when the weather is cold here, the ball will not travel that far, but it wasn't like that in batting practice. Guerrero and his crew were routinely hitting the ball over the Green Monster into the parking lot behind.
A lot of hitting coaches really don't like that kind of approach because it gives you the feeling that you could hit anything up in that net. They would just as soon have you go to the opposite field and maintain your real smooth stroke. But some guys treat this like a driving range.
And Guerrero lines one over third, foul. And the count to him, 2 balls and a strike. Guerrero 7 hits in 12 tries in this division series against the Red Sox.
This camera pit right here is all temporary for the postseason, and that really becomes in play because a ball just inside the bag, fair, can hit this and go back toward the field. The shortstop has to be aware of that.
Popped up, shallow right, J.D. Drew. And Lester retires yet another Angel leadoff man. Here's how the umpires stack up for Game 4 tonight. Ed Rapuano will call the balls and strikes. Tim Sheeta, Marty Foster, Tim Welke bring the infield. Bill Miller down the left field line, and Kerwin Danley will make the plays in right. Here's Torrey Hunter. He's 6 for 14 in the series with 3 RBIs. Torrey's been involved in a lot of very interesting plays in the first 3 games, I'd say.
Well, he has had a couple of misplays in the outfield. The play in Game 3 was one he should have caught. It was a pop-up in the second inning. He's the center fielder. He's got to take charge on that play.
Another fly ball to right that J.D. Drew will gallop under. 5 up, 5 down.
What was interesting about that is that, Kendrick, of course, kind of half signaled for it, but then came off it. You're right, Torrey Hunter should catch that. But I like when he went to the media for the young player and told everyone it was his fault so they wouldn't go to Kendrick and have that kind of discussion.
Yeah, Howie's got enough worries about his bat. He doesn't need anything else, and he is starting to swing the bat a little bit. So Torrey Hunter took the focus off of him and said, my bad. And it's okay when you do that because he's got 7 Gold Gloves.
Well, how about the night Mike Napoli had last night? A couple of home runs, drove in 3 runs, scored the game-winning run in the 12th inning.
Well, here's where he's going to have problems because Lester can beat him inside with a fastball and a cut fastball. Napoli had the best home run ratio in the American League, a home run every 11.4 at bats, but he's really going to have to be quick to guard against that inside pitch.
And you said that last night, the key to pitching here, Robin. You know you've pitched here in postseason play. Got to pitch inside in this park.
Yeah, you have to pitch inside. You feel like you should pitch outside and use the bigger part of the ballpark, but it just does not work that way because even a pitch on the outside corner, it's so shallow in left field, you can still reach the ball and flip it over that wall.
There's that inside pitch from Lester. He should know all about this place. 11-1 in his home park this year.
Well, a lot of pitchers talk about how close home plate feels when they step on the mound here at Fenway Park. Yeah, the monster's at your back, but the home plate feels like you're pitching from 45 feet. It can be a pretty inviting place to pitch.
I always felt the only other place that it felt like that was Dodger Stadium, where you felt like you were higher and closer than any other ballpark in the major leagues.
Well, that mound was 5 feet high.
3 balls and a strike to Mike Napoli. 3 for 7 in the series and 4 runs batted in. Good cut, but now a full count.
Last night, Mike Napoli went deep twice in game 3, and it was a big one. He hits on a breaking ball from Josh Beckett. 3-2 breaking ball. Pretty tough pitch to put a charge in, and then in his next at bat, fastball not inside far enough, and Napoli goes deep twice.
Well, this Fenway crowd last night was stunned. Now they rise as one with a payoff pitch. And we'll do it again.
See, that's the pitch right there that he's developed here in the second half of the season. I asked John Lester early, when did you start becoming comfortable on the outer half of the plate? He said about the middle of May. And that's when he really battled the hitters because now he covers both sides of the plate.
Like an Andy Pettit, throwing inside is much easier to him.
And not surprising in mid-May is when Lester threw his no-hitter. May 19th when he no-hit Kansas City here.
Well, for so long, Veritek kept saying, listen, you need to throw outside. And he said, hey, I can paint inside anytime I want to. I don't need the inner half. Then they started to hit him a little bit, and they saw the value of making the hitters think about both sides of the plate.
Well, like any major leaguer, it doesn't matter if you're a hitter or a fielder or a pitcher. If you want to be great for a long period of time, you got to work on those things that are harder for you.
He lost Napoli, first base runner of the night for the Angels. A 2-out walk to the Angels catcher. And now Juan Rivera comes to the plate, looking for his first postseason hit of the year.
Don't you get a sense that this Fenway crowd isn't really sure how they should react because they're not as supercharged as we've seen them in the past? They seem to ride the emotional roller coaster a little bit more than we've seen in the past. When things are good, everything's good. But a 2-out walk? Come on.
That's going to happen.
Don't you feel like there's a sense that the sense of invincibility has been stripped away with Beckett hurting, Drew hurting, Mike Lowell gone for this and perhaps the next round for the Red Sox?
It's one of two things. It's either a little bit of anxiety or because of the recent success and a 2-0 lead, it's like, you know, we got this in the bag. You know, they lost last night, but Beckett's been hurt. We will take it home tonight. And I think there's a little bit of that there, too.
Well, 3 members of that 4-team dance card have been filled for the next round of the playoffs. The Rays were winners earlier. And a ground ball deep short past diving Jed Lowry. So Rivera does have that first hit of this series. And the Angels threaten with 2 outs. And this is another theme of this series, guys. Lots of 2-out hitting and scoring.
Well, 2-out hitting, but not the ability by the Angels to drive them in after those 2-out hits. Nice swing by Rivera, who Mike Socha said did not have great at-bats the last 30 at-bats of the season. Struggled, and one of the reasons was he was trying to lift the ball here better with a line drive or a ground ball.
So 2 are on with 2 out. Howie Kendrick dropped to the 8th spot in game 3, and that paid big dividends for the Angels. Kendrick had a couple of hits and the key 12th inning sacrifice that led to the go-ahead run. The game again won 5-4 by the Angels in 12.
I don't think they're going to allow Kendrick to put a fastball in play. What they're going to try to do is make him hit breaking ball. He's had a struggle with runners in scoring position. He's stranded 12 men in this series, but he has hit the fastball. He did in game 3. Wow, not going to hit that one.
Blistered the inside corner, and Kendrick can do nothing but shake his head.
And baseball people will say, right guys, he throws easy gas, just nice and easy, and gets it in there at 95.
There's that breaking ball. Kendrick strikes out. Inning over. Angels leave 2 more men in this series, and we are still scoreless. Scoreless game, bottom of the 2nd inning, and you can get exclusive camera angles, behind-the-scenes info, and more online with TBS Hot Corner. Check it out now at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner. As Kevin Youkilis starts off the Red Sox 2nd, and here's the guy that's really given John Lackey a lot of trouble. He's hit 3 homers against him in his career.
And you can see why that would happen. Youkilis is one of those guys that doesn't swing at many pitches off the plate, and that's how Lackey gets a lot of his strikeouts, that breaking ball that breaks into the dirt.
Two balls and a strike. Youkilis here last night, doubled home run and single. The game now has a 2-2 count. He's 4 for 14 in the series.
Take a look at the infield defense, how they play Youkilis on the infield to pull. Everybody is shifted around toward left field to share way off the line at first base. And then you're going to throw him a breaking ball. He's going to pull him to the left side. You can't cross up your defense.
No.
If you set up a defense to a pull field, you want to stay soft and inside with the fastball.
Hit a long way the other way, but well fouled.
Well, you're right, Buck. Your defense can sometimes take a pitch out of your pocket. You have a guy holding the guy on first base, the big hole, left-hander up, your right-handed pitcher. That takes your changeup over the plate off the board. You can't throw it. You can throw it in the dirt, maybe get a swing and miss, but it really takes that pitch out of play.
How many times did you turn around and look at your defenders and say, wait a minute, I've got to move them back where they're playing to my style?
Yeah, you know, you were able to do that then. I don't think they do it too much anymore because they have all these charts and all these people that are putting out these facts of where you're supposed to play.
Over the inside corner, Youkilis couldn't believe it. He has a look back at it, Rapuano. And Lackey has his first strikeout of the night using that inside corner.
Well, and this is a 4-seam fastball. It just goes right to the inside corner. Just drifted a little bit off the plate. 2-seamer, 4-seamer. This one is a straight fastball right at the knees inside.
And you know what fools Youkilis is that he threw a 2-seamer earlier in the count. The ball ran in on his knees. That one stayed true, and he took it for a strike.
And now J.D. Drew hits for the first time. Drew has had a couple of real big at-bats in this series already, has he not? A homer, 3 RBIs, and 3 for 10. Remember, Drew had, what, 4 at-bats in September because of a bad back?
4 at-bats since the 17th of August.
He's been very productive, and a looping line drive into left has J.D. Drew aboard. So Lackey to the stretch for the first time, and Jason Bay, who ripped that home run against him in game 1, is up.
Timing is really starting to come around for Drew. Look at how quiet his body is and how he extends out over the plate. The head stays on the ball, and he drives it to the opposite field. This is not good news for the Angels because J.D. Drew is getting his timing with each at bat.
Jason Bay turned around game 1 with a 6th inning 2-run homer in Anaheim. That came with 2 outs. fact, Bay homered in the first 2 games of this ALDS. He had a 3-run shot in the first inning against Irvin Santana. So his first taste of the postseason has been very, very successful to this point. And he's ahead, 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, in game 1, when you watch Jason Bay, he's a great mistake hitter. If you make a mistake, he usually invariably always hits it. And I think he's just been a great addition to this ball club. A real calming influence, a quiet influence.
What's it mean to you when you hear the phrase professional hitter?
Yeah, professional hitter is Jason Bay. He's a guy that comes, gets his work in. You never hear anything from him. You can see Mike Scioscia and the staff not too happy with Ed Rapuano's strike zone so far.
And a dangerous count now from Lackey, 3-0 to Bay. And the reason it's dangerous, in his career in this ballpark, Lackey has given up 10 home runs in 51 1/3 innings. And Bay, as we said, has already taken him out in this playoff matchup. 2 are on with 1 out. First walk for Lackey tonight.
Very testy. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, and Scioscia so far in this game. Understandably so.
Yeah, you can see Scioscia talking to Rapuano right here from the dugout. Say, come on, you got to let us know where that pitch is. We got to be able to make some adjustments here. That one was well off the plate, sinking down. But what Scioscia wants, obviously, his background as a catcher puts him back behind that plate in many of these situations.
Double play ball off the bat of Kotsay. Bad throw, great recovery, and an even better scoop by Teixeira at first. What a double play turned in by the Angels behind starter John Lackey. 4-6-3, a little shaky, but very effective in Boston. Here we go to the 3rd inning. A view from the Green Monster seats down the left field line at Fenway Park. How about that view tonight, fellas?
There's some tremendous perspectives around this ballpark, and it's really been enhanced over the last several seasons.
Eric Ibar pops one back our way, and a quick strike to the Angels shortstop.
Well, Ibar, of course, his first hit in this series ends up being a game winner off the end of the bat, scoring Mike Napoli.
So he's 1 for 14, but it's a hard one for 14. And a big one for 14 as the Angels stay alive here in game 4 tonight.
Now, that's the beauty of playing postseason baseball. You can be 0 for 3 games, come up with a big hit, win a series, and you're a hero. Everybody remembers that, and that's what Dustin Pedroia is thinking about. One swing of the bat, and he can erase the memories of an 0 for 14 start.
Broken bat, chopper toward Youkilis at 3rd. 1 out. They don't lose anything without Mike Lowell defensively, with Youkilis moving across the diamond.
Well, he's not quite the Gold Glover that Mike Lowell is when he's healthy, but he's certainly very versatile, and he never ever even thinks twice about the move across the diamond. When Lowell hurt his thumb early in April, Youkilis went across and played 3rd base. Sean Casey at that time then went in and played 1st base. Game 2, great play on a swinging bunt, and he just barehands it and throws a good runner out, and then leans into the camera bay in foul territory and pulls it out over the top of those cameramen. He has really done a great job defensively on both sides of the diamond.
3 straight leadoff men retired by Lester in the game as Figgins takes a quick strike. And if you didn't hear the news, Mike Lowell, minutes before tonight's game 4, disabled. That torn hip labrum sidelines him for the rest of this series. And by rule, because he's been replaced on the Boston roster, if the Red Sox advance, Lowell, even if healthy, will not be eligible to play in the ALCS.
That's a significant rule because it prevents management from manipulating their roster. If a pitcher were to start one game in game 1, then they say, oh, he's hurt, we're going to disable him, and then bring him back for the next round. Not that anybody would do that, but this prevents that.
No gamesmanship allowed.
And it really was painful to see the courage with which Mike Lowell played. I mean, he couldn't move.
Well, he dove for one baseball and had a hard time just physically getting up.
So Lowell lost for this round, perhaps the next, if the Red Sox can finish off the Angels, and that's still in doubt as we have no score in this third inning in Game 4.
Buck, you asked about a professional hitter. Mike Lowell's a professional hitter, professional player. The way he goes about his business, plays hurt.
Yeah, it was by design. They brought the Lowells in here of the world. They wanted more of a Jason Varitek kind of image on this ball club.
There's a base hit off the bat of Sean Figgins, second hit of the night for the Angels. And now a chance perhaps, guys, for Los Angeles to get its running game in order here in a scoreless game.
That's such a big part with Sean Figgins. He's had a steal in this series during the regular season. He stole 34 bases. And the one thing that it really creates, and you can speak to this, Ron, when you get a base runner on base, how it divides the pitcher's attention between a dangerous hitter and a good runner at first.
It really does. And when you get in that stretch, also worrying about that runner, you know you want to have to do some slide steps to the plate. That's going to take away some of your velocity, some of the sharpness of your breaking pitches.
Anderson checked his swing but struck out. His first time up and finds himself down 0-1.
Anderson telling Irapuano that's way down. And that's tough when you're not really sure where the strike zone is. And Irapuano's hearing it from the Angels, both at the plate and from the dugout.
Anderson had 2 hits against Lester in the series opener out west. Game 1 by the Red Sox 4-1 out at Angel Stadium of Anaheim. Crowd very quiet as Lester to work. Little tapper. Kotze thinks about second, takes the sure second out at first, and Figgins in scoring position for Mark Teixeira.
All right, here Anderson taps it on the ground. Kotze, who is making just his 6th start with the Red Sox at first base, takes the sure out at first. With Figgins running from first to second, you just don't want to force a throw and end up making an error and giving them maybe third base. Now Anderson relaying to Butcher and Scioscia the strike zone concerns. Pitching coach will always argue the strike zone, won't he?
On your behalf, of course. You know, that play with Kotze also, he might have looked up, had plenty of time, but the base runner might be in his way. Don't want to take a chance of a deflected throw.
One of Mike Scioscia's concerns for his offense in this series was that the top of the order feeds the middle of the lineup. Figgins now in scoring position for Teixeira. Is 7 for 14 in the series, but has only 1 run batted in.
Well, his 8th single would lead to a run.
And they'll take a run any way they can get it early against Lester tonight. Huge lead at second. And Varitek a nice block. 1 ball, 1 strike.
This is where Mark Teixeira really zones in. He knows he's got a runner in scoring position, but he never expands his hitting zone. He has an idea of what he wants to do. He's very good at staying at the big part of the field where he's not going to pull off a ball and roll over on something to the left side. So he will not chase borderline pitches until he gets 2 strikes. He's thinking about driving something to the gaps in left center and right center. Again, Varitek not giving location early by any means. Figgins was the guy at second base for 21 pitches in the first inning in Game 3. Figgins is a veteran. He knows if there's any way he can relay location to the hitter, that will give Mark Teixeira an advantage. So Varitek doesn't set up early at all.
How's that done? Giving location.
There are many ways you can do it. Move your foot, move your head, turn any way. What you can do is it's the first foot you move, for instance. If you move your foot toward third base, it's inside. If you move the foot that's closer to second base, it's outside. And if you have location like that, it's going to be a fastball because you don't locate too many breaking balls. So it's something that's going to be hard. That's all the information a good hitter needs.
You can put your right hand on your hip, That'll tell you that it's inside. Some guys stand up straight with their lead off second and then get in the crouch. They stand up straight, that means it's inside, and a crouch on the outer part of the plate.
And Varitek is very protective of that. He will not set up early.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Lester thought he had him punched out. He was 2 steps toward the dugout. 3-2.
Oftentimes pitchers will complain about a target, but you see how he shifts late to the outside. It's well out of the strike zone. But all a catcher has to do is, you want me to tell him where it is, or you want to just go by chance, make a good pitch? If he sets up early, you're going to tell him where it is.
You saw that. He caught that by Varitek, the little wiggle of the, almost the Hawaiian sign, right? And that means to twirl and just keep Figgins a little closer to second base in case of a single. Might have a chance at a play at home.
Another 3-2 pitch to Teixeira. And he walks. Good eye by the Angels first baseman. Now first and second, 2 outs. And Lester has to reset against Vladimir Guerrero.
Another example of an RBI guy not chasing bad pitches because he is so locked in, and he will take the walk and turn things over to Guerrero, and it's in pretty good hands when you turn it over to Guerrero.
And for the pitcher, Lester, he's thinking to himself, you know, Teixeira's a tough out, Guerrero's a tough out also, but I'm not going to throw him a cookie on 3-2 with the base open.
Guerrero 1 RBI in his last 61 postseason at bats. This would be a good spot for him to come through for the Angels in game 4. And he was thinking about more than just one.
Oftentimes, and it's very similar to a golfer who tries to hit it 350 yards. When you take that big swing, you end up with nothing.
Sounds like you're speaking from personal experience.
Exactly. Try easier again.
Yeah. Guerrero has that nose-to-toe strike zone. Down a strike here in the 3rd. Now it's 0-2.
And now here's where he's really vulnerable because Lester has so many weapons. He can bounce a curveball. He can elevate a fastball. He can throw a 2-seamer off the plate away.
Got to be careful, though, not to throw it for a strike. You've done all this work to get 0-2. It's got to be way off the plate. I've seen Guerrero many times. Fastball right on the corner. Just hit a little drive to right field.
Yeah, the last thing you want to throw him is a strike.
Again, talking with Mike Scioscia about his ball club. They've had a ton of scoring opportunities, not just in this series, but all year long. And this is a club that won 100 games in 2008. First time they've ever done that in their franchise history. But their Achilles heel, he said, has been the big hit in big situations.
They certainly haven't been able to come up with it outside of Mike Napoli, and they haven't been able to add on runs either.
Another 0-2 pitch due to Vladimir Guerrero. Just did get a piece of that.
Many people compare Vladimir Guerrero to the late Roberto Clemente because of his ability to hit the ball all over the ballpark. He just barely deflects that curveball. But to give you an idea, Guerrero is about 6'3" and weighs about 235. Clemente was 5'11" and weighed maybe 175.
Wow. No batting gloves for Guerrero on a cold night. And a rocket pulled foul. What's it like facing a guy like this, Ron, where you have really nowhere to go because he swings at everything?
Well, it's a strange scouting report because you're told before you go out to every other hitter, get strike 1. Well, Vladimir Guerrero, strike 1 could be anywhere. You don't have to throw it on the plate. The key, though, the difficult part against Guerrero is once you get the 2 strikes, he does that, fouls off really tough pitches until you might make a mistake.
2 on, 2 out, 0-2 count. High pop fly, right field line, slicing, however, deep into the seats.
Kotze ran right over the back of the umpire down the right field line. Kerwin Danley was watching the ball go out of play. Kotze's not played that much at first base. Watch Kotze concentrating on the ball. That's pass interference.
Look at that carry him. Imagine if you had made the play.
Danley says, yeah, that's a foul ball.
Where's the flag?
You know, in facing Guerrero, you asked, Chip, people always talk about, you know, having good control early in the count, being able to throw strikes where you want to. Well, you know what? It takes control once you get ahead of Guerrero to be able to throw balls out of the strike zone.
Good battle here, 0-2.
Now, you've been taught your whole life to throw strikes, and now you're encouraged not to. But he literally can hit balls 10 inches off the plate inside or outside. He's got tremendous coverage and extension.
And he was hitting him past the flagpole in left center field.
Think John Lackey's ready to go?
Wow.
In the dirt, Varitek couldn't find it for a moment. But now the pitch is starting to pile up for Lester. Angels getting better looks the second time through the order, and the count evens up.
Ron, we have talked about this throughout this series. Not so much the pitch count in total, but how about a pitch count in a particular inning, how that can fatigue a starter.
Well, think about it. In the minor leagues, there's some organizations, if the pitcher throws more than 35 pitches in an inning, he's pulled. It doesn't matter if it's a second or third inning.
Little cue shot past the mound. Tough play. Pedroia in, up, underhand, and got him. What a play.
He doesn't need to hit.
He might have just saved a run in the third inning. Angels strand 2 more. They've left 4 through 3. Super play by Dustin Pedroia ends the top of this third inning. Now the bottom half with Jed Lowrie, Jason Varitek, and Jacoby Ellsbury. Yankees allowed just 1 hit himself. He too got a terrific double play behind him that ended Boston's second. And 2 balls, no strikes. Lowrie 2 for 7 in the series. Hit .258 during the regular season with a couple of home runs and 46 knocked in. And drives that one to center field. It's playable, however, for Torrey Hunter. And 1 man down in the Boston third. This American League Division Series coverage on TBS presented by BlackBerry. A cold, windy night at Fenway Park. 49 degrees at first pitch. And here's Jason Varitek. He's 2 for 11. Varitek last night went 1 for 3 and scored a run. And Buck, we talked about it as well in the series. The Red Sox carrying 3 catchers in this first round.
Yeah, and it really played into the game last night when they went into 12 innings. They used a pinch hitter for Varitek. They brought in Kevin Cash. Then they used a pinch hitter for Kevin Cash and brought in David Ross. And it's unusual, especially in the American League. You don't see 3 catchers anymore because American League teams have to carry 11 and sometimes 12 pitchers.
And I think why they have to do it is Varitek has had a subpar offensive season. So at times when they need it, they'll have to pinch hit for him.
Driven foul left side for a strike. 2
and even pinch running, and you don't do that much in the American League during the regular season. It just doesn't play to the way the offenses are set up.
Varitek 6 for 30, a .200 batting average, including postseason against Lackey. And that'll drop just a touch as he rolls out to second for out number 2. So Lackey looks good in his return to Fenway Park. And Jacoby Ellsbury, the hitter, he tapped back to the mound.
What's really good for him, first time through the order, we haven't seen an awful lot of breaking balls, and he's using his fastball both 2-seam and 4-seam. So now he has the option, second time through the order, to bring the breaking ball into the mix.
Is that a different pattern that you're seeing from game 1 for him?
Not necessarily. He used a few more curveballs early, but it was a hot, humid night in Anaheim in game 1. So he had real good feel and a real good touch. But tonight, I think most pitchers, just especially veteran pitchers, will react to what they see. Right now, the fastball's all he needs.
Another chance to the mound, and Lackey makes the play. Wide throw of first, but Teixeira handles without issue. Scoreless game as we head to the fourth inning. There's a look at one of the famous landmarks at Fenway Park, the pesky pole down the right field line, named for one of the great legends in Red Sox history, Johnny Pesky, whose number was retired the final weekend of the season when the Red Sox hosted the Yankees.
I didn't see Leroy is here or Clapton is God. I didn't see that on there.
There's number 6, and Johnny Pesky immortalized on the facade here at Fenway Park. Torrey Hunter batting for the second time, fly to right his first time up, is in a quick 2-strike hole.
There's that outside pitch that we had talked so much about that has really battled and made hitters really fight both sides of the plate. John Lester has always been able to throw the opposite onside strike inside to right-handers.
Hunter launches that ball into the seats, foul.
And you can tell because the right-handed hitters are so conscious of that ball inside. Very rarely does he throw a ball to the outside part that's even offered at.
It's so tough because hitters have an ego and they don't like to get beat inside.
And Torrey was thinking about that on the last swing. Pulled that ball deep into the seats. And an off-speed pitch takes care of Torrey Hunter. Third strikeout for John Lester. Time to talk. Brought to you by Charles Schwab. John Farrell, the pitching coach of the Red Sox, talks about that new look of John Lester, his left-handed starter tonight.
Well, Buck, you raise a great point because last year he was predominantly four-seam to his glove side or into righties as well as the cutter. But the advent or the addition of his sinker two-seamer has really opened up the outer half. And when he can bend some right-handed hitters over to the outside, and then he can exploit the inside again with that four-seamer and cutter.
You know, John, depleted a lot of your bullpen last night. You know everyone's available this time of year. But with this colder weather, will you try to give them a little more time before they come in?
Well, without a doubt, Ron, as long as the game situation is unfolding at a pace that, you know, we can anticipate some situations. You know, we'll give every available opportunity we can for guys. But as you mentioned, Papelbon is hot tonight. Del Carmen is. We're full slate of relievers down there tonight.
Well, guys, I'm glad somebody's hot. It's about 45 degrees tonight.
Well, that's exactly what they want from their bullpen is some guys that are active, and they are hot because they will use Papelbon tonight despite working 2 innings in last night's game.
Leadoff man retired in the fourth. Torrey Hunter struck out Mike Napoli. Here's the batter. He walked with 2 outs in the second, and it's 11 consecutive leadoff men set down by John Lester in this series.
You can see it is rather cool here tonight at Fenway. Reggie Willis got his hooded sweatshirt on, his jacket.
Broken bat. Lester chased from the mound. Lowry at short makes the play. 2 outs.
I don't know how fortunate we are because we have not had a serious injury because of these broken bats, but we saw it last night, and here again. Watch where the barrel of this bat goes. Right over the top of the mound, and Lester was able to pick up that barrel. Oftentimes you watch the ball, you don't see the bat coming, but look at him duck out of the way. I mean, these things just break too often.
Yeah, baseball is going to have to address it because it's become a big problem. I saw in the spring training game, Carlos Delgado of the Mets was leading off third. Broken bat. The bat came and sliced his arm. He had 7 or 8 stitches. So, I mean, just imagine if well, we know it's going to happen at some point. And just hope I'm not there to see it. I'll tell you that.
Here's Juan Rivera. He singled his first time, pops one back. Don Long of the Pirates seriously hurt at Dodger Stadium, I believe it was.
Yeah, and there was a fan struck with a bat that went into the seats. And the reason that this is happening is most of this generation of ball player uses a light bat because they grew up using an aluminum bat. And they're all about 3-4 ounces less than the length. And that becomes a very brittle bat, whether it's maple or ash, but it's traditionally maple bats that break more dramatically.
And what was the rule of thumb back in the day with bats?
Well, Pee-wee Reese, who used to work with Louisville Slugger, would come around in spring training and recommended that you used an ounce of weight for every inch of the bat. So if you had a 35-inch bat, it should weigh about 35 ounces. That's when you got the best quality wood. But now the technology is so good, they are grinding the bats and turning the bats down so fine and making the wood very hard. But to get a bat of 34.5 inches long to weigh 31 ounces. You have to dry it a long time and it becomes very brittle.
So fortunately, no injury on the Napoli broken bat up the middle. And now Rivera, 1-2 count. And he looks low, 2-2.
But if you were to tell a hitter now to use an ounce per inch, you'd think you were swinging a leaded bat.
That's right. Take the donut off, right? And they take all that weight out of the handle because that's how they grow up playing in the college ball. Really thin handles on the aluminum bat.
Wind blowing across the park from left to right as Lester gets a ground ball toward third. That's a fair ball and a long throw to first. Rivera slow out of the box. And John Lester another 1-2-3 inning, this time in a scoreless fourth in game 4. Here we go, fourth inning, no score with Buck Martinez, with Ron Darling and Craig Sager. Chip Carey at Fenway Park. What a duel we have tonight. Red Sox win, they head to the ALCS. If the Angels win, we're heading west for a game 5. And both Lackey and Lester looking very good here tonight. Dustin Pedroia looking for his first base hit in the series. He is ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. Very interesting, the comments of Terry Francona about Pedroia's at-bat so far in our pregame meeting with him tonight.
Yeah, he said he would trade an 0 for 5 for a win, and that's truly the way he thinks. He'll take an 0 for 5 as long as the team wins, and he's one of those guys. And then he'll tell you, kind of wink at you, say, yeah, but I'd like to get a hit too, you know.
We can do both.
3 balls, no strikes.
To give you an idea how much confidence he has, last year, about the 1st of May, he's hitting $170. And that night, he texted his college coach, Pat Murphy, at Arizona State and said, I'm about ready to put Red Sox Nation on my shoulders. And he took off from there.
Deep short. High bar from his shoe tops. Long throw. Pedroia still hitless. And out number 1. It's time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. Let's check in with Mike Butcher, the Angels pitching coach, and talk about his starter, John Lackey.
Well, he's just trying to work ahead in the count, and fortunately they're swinging a little bit earlier in the count too. So if he can establish that strike zone early and get those quick early strikes and get quick early outs, it's going to get him deeper in the game.
Mike, can this cold, dry air be a problem for Lackey and his feel on his breaking pitches?
No, I think he's doing pretty good. You know, he's when he's out there, he's got that good warmth going because he's in the moment. Gets in here and goes inside and stays warm, so he's going to be okay. He's got short sleeves on out there too.
He's a tough Texan. What about the shape of your bullpen tonight? Everybody available?
Everybody's ready to go.
Good news, the bullpen ready to go. Francisco Rodriguez, the closer, pitched a tough inning last night. Threw a lot of pitches, 33 in 1 inning, but he too, just like Papelbon, will be ready to go.
Ortiz singles to center. He stands there with 1 out, and Kevin Youkilis, the batter, took a called third, a disputed called third, over the inside corner. So, Ron, how does Lackey approach Youkilis the second time through now?
Well, I think he's going to still try to work him away and pound him in late in the count. But for Lackey, he really just wants to keep that sinker down and into Youkilis and that breaking ball working away on the outside corner.
That was too far outside, 2-0.
We were talking about the bullpens, and both pitching coaches said their bullpens are fine, everyone's hot, but they are going to be put in places they've never been put in before this season. The entire season, if they threw 30 pitches, they wouldn't pitch the next game. So it'd be how effective they are, even if they're all ready to go.
Obviously, nobody wants to risk injury, and what they do is they come out and throw a little bit more before a game like this. It's cold. You're going to have a little more time, and pitching coach will call down early and say, okay, we're thinking about you. If you want to get up, start moving around, go ahead, get yourself loose, and we're going to warm you up maybe next inning.
3 balls, no strikes to Youkilis. And that's right through there. Not only pitch counts, but men who pitch out of the bullpen. Jared Weaver had never done that before. He was the last man standing for the Angels last night and pitched beautiful baseball.
Came in the 11th inning, but he started warming up in the 6th because he's a starter, and he needed that much time to get loose. Picked up his first win. Just the third reliever to win a game like that, coming out of the bullpen in a postseason scenario.
3 balls and a strike. Chopper toward third. Figgins backhand stab. Second one. Ball dropped. And what's the call? Everybody's safe. Bad throw by Figgins.
Like this, you've got to make a quick decision. Double play or not. When you go that far to the line, you've got to make a true throw to get the lead runner. Howie Kendrick looked like he might have been on the run instead of stationary at second. Watch him at the bag. The ball is inside. He has to come off the bag. If he gets there a little bit early, he's got a chance to catch it and at least get the force run.
What Kendrick should do is set up almost like a first baseman to take that throw, because he knows he's not going to be able to get a double play because Euclid gets down that line quickly.
J.D. Drew hits now and swings and misses. We've talked about a slick baseball for the pitcher who goes to the mouth and keeps the hand moist and warm. How about the infielders on a dry, cold night?
I think it could be a problem, but more than anything, I think he just rushed his throw a little bit, not thinking about just the force out, trying to force a double play.
And again, will an error in the field or lack of making a play by the Angels hurt them?
Yeah, they really have not had a clean series defensively.
No, like Mike Sosa said, we have not played the type of baseball we played most of the season.
Ball too low to J.D. Drew. 2 balls and a strike.
There's the pitch count, 50. Balls and strikes just about even. That's not ideal for John Lackey.
There's that breaking ball, and we mentioned the first time through the order he threw a lot more fastballs. Now he has the luxury of bringing the breaking ball into the mix. That's the one thing about a starter. People don't understand how difficult it is to be a major league starter, because you have to really think on the fly, make adjustments as the game develops.
Here you go. Full count.
You can get through a lineup using a fastball, maybe a changeup, and then as the hitters adjust, you have to incorporate other things.
That's that high fastball that Dave Magadan talked about that he uses occasionally when he's ahead in the count.
Now he really has to ponder a pitch. 2 on, 1 out, a full count to Drew. And he does want to think it over. Off stride. J.D. Drew stays alive.
J.D. Drew has had a couple of curveballs right there in the middle of the plate.
It's a timing issue. Hasn't had enough at bats to be sharp. And the breaking ball is more difficult to time than the fastball.
Fly ball well hit right center field. Hunter though will have a play. There's the catch. Ortiz will tag. He will head to third. Throw comes into second. They're at the corners for Bay, but 2 out.
Well, you know, with the Jason Bay on deck, I think right there is a decision after the breaking ball was missed by Drew. You know, I'm going to throw a fastball on the outer part of the plate, keep him in the big part of the ballpark, and hope my Gold Glove center fielder runs it down, which he did.
Yeah, especially with 2 strikes, because it's difficult for a hitter after he's seen a curveball to get on top of the fastball and really drive it. Probably going to be late. Now lazy fly ball to center field.
What do you think the subject of this conversation with Mike Butcher and parts of this Angel infield?
Well, for me, I think Butcher is not only going to give the scouting report again, reiterated to John Lackey about Jason Bay, but also say sometimes you have an open base, might be in the middle of the diamond. Mark Kotsay, who hasn't gotten a lot of playing time, of course, I don't think as dangerous as Jason has been in the series.
It's also an opportunity to clear Lackey's mind and give him one approach. This is what I want you to do, and it takes the onus off the pitcher and catcher.
Mike Socha with the signs from the Angel bench. Bay walked his first time up. First and third to the Red Sox. Scoreless game, and there's the breaking ball. Nasty pitch for a strike.
Remember, Mike Socha, the manager, is a catcher with a great background of calling pitches, so he's going to help with the game plan. And he sent Butcher out there to deliver the message.
remember, it was the breaking ball that Bay had trouble with Lackey in game 1.
First 2 at-bats, he struck out and missed them by a mile. And then in the 3rd at-bat, for some reason, Lackey decided to throw him a fastball. Bay hit a 2-run homer.
Good stop by Napoli. That might have saved a run as Ortiz came charging down the line.
You call for a breaking ball. The only place it's going to beat you is down in the dirt to the right, so you anticipate a ball in the dirt, and he squared up on it and played it off his chest protector. You're not going to get beat to the glove side on that pitch. If he throws it that way, it's going to be slower and have a bigger bounce, easy to catch.
1-2. High fly ball gone under it. Garrett Anderson glides over and under, and Lackey is out of the 4th inning. He pitches around an E5, and the Red Sox strand 2. 5th inning already at Fenway Park, and Howie Kendrick jumps at the first pitch. Kevin Youkilis, a 2-hopper. And 1 man is out as we check it again with Craig Sager.
Well, last night before the game, Mike Scioscia surprised a few people when he said, "We are going to win this game. We will not be eliminated tonight." So tonight in the pre-game press conference, asked him how confident he was, and here's what he said. "I know we're going to play well. I know we're going to play very well. I'm sure of that. Ask me to do a forensic analysis, and I'll guarantee it. With a forensic analysis, I will guarantee a victory." So if you got one up there, Chip, he's going to guarantee a victory for you.
Well, that'd be great. See a game 5 perhaps in Anaheim.
CSI Fun Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fenway Park.
Yeah. Not as exciting as CSI Miami, but that's another story as Ibar bats. I know the Red Sox fans don't want to see a game 5, but tell you what, the defending world champions, the team with 100 wins squaring off 1 game winner take all, that would be great for baseball.
And I think, too, as the series goes on, you're going to see better and better baseball because everybody kind of gets over the jitters and they settle into the flow of the game.
And Lester in the flow tonight. Again, another leadoff man retired. 12 innings pitched or started. Lester's retired all 12 of those first men. And he's behind Ibar, 3 balls and no strikes.
I remember my first postseason series, Kansas City playing against the Yankees. George Brett and I are sitting together in the locker room. I said, "Are you nervous?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "So am I." Mickey Rivers hit him the first ball and threw it about 6 rows up into the seats.
Liner into the right field corner. J.D. Drew will try to cut it off, and he is able to. And he's got a very accurate arm. So Ibar aboard with his first hit of the night, his second of the series. Boys and Girls Clubs of America is the official charity of Major League Baseball, reaching more than 4 million kids worldwide. Together they create a positive place for kids. And again, Ron, you have the luxury of playing and pitching in postseason play in this ballpark. Is there anything quite like this experience?
No, there isn't, especially because I'm from here, you know, and pitching in front of 50 or 60 passes that I left that day with everyone except, I think, my mother wanting me to win. They wanted me to pitch well, but they wanted the Red Sox to win.
That's great, huh? Thanks.
You know, so
Thanks for coming.
So the first game I lose 1-0 on an unearned run. They were like, "That was perfect. Great job."
No balls and a strike to Sean Figgins.
That was a pretty good series right there, too. The American League Championship Series, right, against this same Angels team.
Yeah, that started that long losing streak by the Angels head-to-head in postseason play against Boston. That streak ended last night as a time was called by the batter and granted by Ed Rappuano, and Lester fired that all the way to the screen.
I used to play with a guy in the minor leagues. I won't say his name, but when that would happen, he would fire a ball right at the hitter because he had called timeout.
Yeah, and he was starting the pitch. Look at that one. That's a little high right there.
Well, that's Len Barker-like.
That's very true. He threw that one up in the press box. And he was trying to throw it over.
No balls and a strike. Scoreless game, 5th inning. Oh, good pitch. This boy has become a man in a hurry, has he not?
Well, his body has changed. He is, baseball people, the parlance would be, is a horse. I mean, he just is a guy that you can see a consistent 210, 220 inning guy in the major leagues.
He's got a beautiful delivery, and that allows him to pitch so many innings. There's not a whole lot of strain on his body because his delivery is so sound.
A base hit right field, just the second for the Angels with 2 strikes against Lester in this series. And now that bottom and top portion of the order starting to feed the middle fellas in a scoreless 5th inning game in Boston.
Well, that's what you need. I found it very interesting, though. The team that's been the best in baseball going from 1st and 3rd, Sean Ibar plays it very conservative here, but of course, Drew does have a great arm. Thinking about it, but did not go.
Well, this gives you the perspective. If Drew charging it very quickly and gets it off to the glove side, he's prepared to throw to 3rd, and he was just waiting for Ibar to make a break. He's a very true thrower, strong and accurate arm.
So again, Garrett Anderson with a chance to plate the first Angels run in this game. They've left 4 men on base in play tonight, and for the series they have stranded 40 men. And I wonder, as Lester moves into the middle innings and gets into his groove, but how many more opportunities they're going to get against tonight's Boston starter.
Well, they had the opportunities in the 1st inning against him in game 1, and they couldn't score. They really let him off the hook, and he settled in and pitched 7 strong innings. So he doesn't give you too many opportunities. You can't string too many hits together against John Lester.
Tapper hits slowly to the right side. Pedroia goes to 2nd 1. That's all they'll get. And a good hard slide in there by Sean Figgins. And the Angels have it at the corners now for Teixeira, but with 2 out.
Now, this is a very aggressive base running team, and Figgins went in hard. Really no chance at all to get a double play right there. But he's going to make sure that Pedroia doesn't even think about making a throw with a very aggressive slide right at his feet. He kept his feet low. That's not a problem. Middle infielders won't have any problem with that. I said Pedroia, of course. That was Lowry, the shortstop, covering the bag.
And just the opposite than the Angels running that play. Lowry got there early, made like a first baseman, and gave a big target to the second baseman, Pedroia.
The chance for Teixeira with a man aboard. Foul at the plate.
This is where Jason Varitek is so valuable. He's had 2 at-bats against Teixeira tonight and really has the opportunity to think about where he's going. Teixeira batted .520 against the top 10 pitchers in the American League in the ERA rankings. Varitek knows, okay, I got the information from previous at-bats, and I know what Teixeira's trying to do right now. So I'm going to try to work him away, checking out Teixeira just to see where he's set up.
Outside corner.
Now Teixeira knows the pattern of Lester is always strong to the inside, and he makes a perfect pitch outside. Now he's thinking, all I can do right here is just protect the plate.
I think Teixeira, really, Ibar and Figgins gave you the blueprint on how to go up against John Lester with those balls to hit the right field for base hits.
But you've always got in the back of your mind the cutter and the 4-seamer inside. Checking out Teixeira.
Way high.
Trying to come inside. Reached back for a little too much. Came out of his delivery and really let his arm drag, and that's why it was up and away.
When you rush that delivery, that front shoulder opens up. If it opens up, there's only one place it'll go. Up and away.
You just hope it's up and away far enough.
You got it.
Ibar at 3rd, Anderson at 1st. Just missed again. Lester thought he had him punched out.
Watch Lester's reaction. Thought he had strike 3, and it's about a foot outside. He's a little pumped up.
Yeah, yes, but as a pitcher, you really don't want to do that too many times, because now you get the umpire to a point where you're not going to get anything close.
Even Ed Rapuano was shaking his head and said no, not a strike. So from 0-2 to 2-2. That one good enough. Lester strikes out to Teixeira, who asks for an explanation. Inning over. And 2 more left for the Angels in the 5th. Scoreless game, bottom of the 5th inning. Lackey and Lester have been terrific. Mark Kotsay starts it off. He hit into a double play his first time up. Kotsay hit .226 in the regular season for Boston with 12 runs batted in. Came over from the Braves. And he hits a liner up the middle. Leadoff man aboard for Boston.
Well, it's pretty interesting watching as you see the pitch tracks, the pitches to Teixeira. This is the one that's called a ball. Now we'll see whether the one he's called a strike. Almost the same spot. It's very rare you'll see a pitcher kind of think he had strike 3. Rapuano not liking that he walked off the mound. The next pitch in the same spot and gives it to him.
So Kotsay, the first leadoff man for either club to reach base tonight. Let's see if Boston manufactures some offense here in the 5th inning with the lower portion of their order up. And Jed Lowry, the shortstop, ahead in the count.
DeMarlo Hale going through the signs to both the batter runner right now. Jed Lowry at the plate handles the bat well. And unlike years past, the Red Sox can get creative offensively. They don't have to just sit back and hit home runs. Little two-seamer that sailed off the plate. Now you got the count in your favor. Terry Francona, his signs to the third base coach, who passes him on to Lowry at the plate and Kotsay at first.
Pretty good lead at first on a 2-0 count, and now 3 balls, no strikes.
This is almost the kind of game which starting pitcher blinks first.
Red Sox looking for a date with the Rays in the ALCS. Tampa Bay won 6-2 today, and so they have won that series. The Angels trying to force a game 5.
Yeah, congratulations to Joe Madden, that entire organization. Andrew Friedman, the GM. What a job from worst to first.
Outstanding. B.J. Upton with a couple of home runs today.
And Andy Sonnenstein the winner. Gavin Floyd took the loss in Chicago. And a strike, 3 balls and a strike. How about both Chicago teams out in the first round? Surprising, certainly in the case of the Cubs. You'd have to be surprised.
First time they were there trying to go to the postseason since 1906, and everybody had high hopes for a Chicago World Series, and now they can't even go to the next round.
High towering fly ball to center will be caught by Torrey Hunter. And that Rays club, most wins after the worst record in the major leagues. 97 wins in the regular season, surpassing the 1991 worst to first Atlanta Braves, who won 94 games after a terrible 1990 season.
And when the Braves won that season in '91, they put together a streak that went on for 15 years. I think Tampa Bay is poised to do the same type of thing, but the problem they have, the American League East, the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Because you know the Yankees and Red Sox, no matter what happens in this series, are going to reload again in the offseason.
Well, there'll be no seasons where you win it with 88. You got to go 95 or better in wins.
Varitek shows bunt, takes a strike, and Buck and I, Ron, were talking about this during the series. The toughening up of a ball club when you have to play day in and day out in this Eastern Division as opposed to the American League West in the case of the Angels, where every other club but the Angels finished below 500. Not the case in the East.
And I think one of the hardest things is to evaluate young pitchers in the American League East. Guys that pitch for maybe Toronto or Baltimore, and you say, boy, look at those ERAs, they can't pitch. Well, maybe they can. It's just that they're facing those kind of lineups night in and night out.
Yeah, the best pitching staff in baseball is in Toronto. We don't even talk about them. Then you've got Baltimore, who can swing the bats. They just don't pitch very well. And Tampa Bay, of course, they have come out of nowhere. But Tampa Bay is loaded with young position players and young pitchers. they're going to be good for a while and competitive for a while.
Evan Longoria had a super series. Carl Crawford is back.
Longoria is 22. Looks like he's been playing 10 years.
Yes.
And they are awaiting the winner of this series, as Veritek pulls that one foul and into the second row seats by the tarp.
They just have an amazing athletic team. I mean, when you watch them play, balls go in the outfield that you'd think are sure hits, and they're just caught. They just play good defense. That young pitching, of course, could be around for a long, long time.
I think Carl Crawford's the best left fielder defensively in baseball.
And we will see Carl Crawford and the Rays beginning October 10th here on TBS. Buckron and I will have the American League Championship Series Game 1. And our friends at Fox will also have the National League Championship Series. That features the Phillies and the Dodgers.
And you know, the Angels are somewhat pleased for Joe Madden. He was the bench coach for Mike Scioscia for a number of years. He spent 30 years in the Angels organization, finally got an opportunity to manage, and he's turned the entire Rays franchise around.
And it just shows you, if you are willing to put in the time, started about as low as you can start and moved right up that rung.
Big pitch in the game for Lackey. 3-2 to Veritek with Kotze at first. Will Kotze be running?
He's running.
He let you know right there, didn't he?
Yeah. Got happy feet. Well, Veritek obviously hits a lot of balls on the ground and doesn't run well, so he try to create a hole on the infield.
He's going. Good jump. Line drive. Base hit right field. Kotze on his way to third. Veritek comes through with a clean hit. And the Red Sox have their first and best scoring chance.
Tightly pitched ball game, and you certainly take chances. Number 9 hitter Jason Veritek, 3-2 count. You start the runner at first. Veritek gets a curveball and hooks it into right field. Kotze runs well. Veritek hammers it past Teixeira. Kotze easily going first to third, and now the pressure is on the Angels. Teixeira can catch just about everything, but that was past him before he got his glove extended, and Kotze ends up at third.
If you're thinking about two, you've got a very fast man in the batter's box in Jacoby Ellsbury, who's tapped back to the mound twice tonight. This year, Ellsbury, though, has hit into 9 double plays. He didn't swing. Ball 1.
Well, look at this angle from the side. No, it looks like he kept that head of the bat back.
Ellsbury's been clutch in this series so far. 3 for 4 in these situations with runners in scoring position.
Remember, though, one of those was a pop-up that was let fall in yesterday's ball game.
Sound like a pitcher.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't forget those.
Nobody else will either. First time that's ever happened
That's
in
right.
postseason history. A 3-run single off the bat of Ellsbury. And now he's behind 1-2.
Now here's a situation. You got a speedy runner. He's in a sacrifice fly mentality. Something out over the plate, something you can just lift, hit it to the outfield and plate the run. If I'm John Lackey, I'm thinking about crowding him with a 2-seamer, run it back over the plate, or a cutter inside. I think they're playing right into his hand here.
Ground ball slowly hit. Bobbled. Recovered. 1-0 Boston.
Kotze going first and third allows him to score on the bobble at second base, and again the defense has let John Lackey down. They got a chance for 2 right here. Ball's hit right to Kendrick, who got in a hurry thinking about a double play. All he can get is Ellsbury at first, and Kotze scores the first run of the game.
Almost looked like Kendrick got caught in between. He thought he was going to come and charge it and tag the runner and go to first base, and you see the reaction by Lackey. Those are the kind of things you don't like to see a starting pitcher do.
So the 6th RBI out of the leadoff spot for Jacoby Ellsbury in the series gives Boston a 5th inning lead. And Dustin Pedroia, hearing the chance of MVP, stands in now with 2 outs.
He's not thinking about a soft serve into right. He swings it hard. Dustin Pedroia, runners on in this series. He is 0 for 11. Runners in scoring position, 0 for 8. But as we mentioned in the short series, he just takes one swing of the bat.
Breaking ball, fly ball, lifted deep left field. That ball is off the monster. Veritek scores. Pedroia's first hit gives the Red Sox a 2-0 lead.
Well, sooner or later, you just knew Pedroia was going to deliver. And his first hit is off the monster and drives in a run. High breaking ball stayed inside. He hung a breaking ball, and Pedroia took advantage of it.
And everyone has talked about, even the pitching coach, that he would have no problem on the field with curveball. Kotsay led off with a curveball. Veritek, a curveball hit the right field. And now this ball off the wall by Pedroia. Just rolling kind of curveballs.
13 of Boston's 17 runs in this series have come with 2 outs. And Craig Sager, it's a 2-0 game. Angels trailing in Boston.
Well, hard work pays off. Being 0 for 2 so far before that hit by Pedroia. He came out earlier before batting practice today. Batting practice at 5:40. He was out here 3 hours before with Luis Alicea. They set up the batting cage. He spent several minutes, up to a half hour, just bunting. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm strengthening my eyes, improving my hand-eye coordination." The 0 for 17 streak, that was the longest streak of without a hit he's had all season, and he just snapped it down.
And a liner back to Lackey. What a play! That's 3 of those tonight. He spears a rocket off Big Papi's bat, but gives up a pair in the Boston 5th.
This game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Vladimir Guerrero leads off the 6th for the Angels, who now trail in Game 4. Boston leads the series 2-1. They win tonight. They head to Tampa. John Lester has not allowed a leadoff man to reach in any of his innings in this series, and he won't on a great diving play by Kotsay.
Well, you put great athletes all over the diamond and make good plays. Mark Kotsay was picked up to provide depth in the outfield, and look at the play he makes here in the first out of the 6th inning. He's athletic, and it takes an athlete to make a play like this.
There's only a handful of first basemen in baseball that can make that play.
And so Lester 1/3 of the way, Ron, towards what he's hoping to have, and that's a shutdown inning.
Well, your better pitchers, you can judge them by one way. When they get a couple of runs, they shut the door on the opposing team. How do you do that? I don't think you change any of your strategy, but I think you become almost more aggressive. Make sure that you pound that strike zone, because walks or 3-2 counts lets that other team feel that you're a bit vulnerable. This is when you want to let them know that the game's over.
How many times have you heard a teammate pitcher say, "Give me a couple of runs, boys, that's all I need"?
Well, Jack Morris said, "I've never lost with 10.
Well, Lester in his postseason career, just 1 run in the last 21 innings pitched. The Angels know they have a tough assignment now to erase a 2-run deficit against one of the most dominant left-handers in baseball.
Late swing by Torrey Hunter, and out of play, foul.
You know, this is a guy, Lester, who came into the postseason as the September pitcher of the month, so he was a fine pitcher who was hot in that month and has taken it in to October.
Little tapper hit toward Euclid at 3rd. Tough play. Gloves, grabs, guns. Got it.
about great athletes. Mike Lowell wouldn't have been able to make this play because he's injured. A healthy Mike Lowell makes it just the way Euclid makes it, but he's not healthy. Kevin Euclid goes from first to third without missing a beat.
So 2 outs in the 6th inning. And Mike Napoli, the hitter, he has walked and he is grounded out. The Angels have left 6 more men on base in this series. 3 of those 6 have been left in scoring position. And a back toward us shot off the bat of the Angels catcher, strike 1. Ken Lester has not given up an earned run in this series. He's not allowed a leadoff man to reach. And that in and of itself, guys, just really puts a crimp on what the Angels want to do with this attack. And Mike Scioscia has been very honest in saying we are not a club that can sit back and hit 2- and 3-run homers. They have to run to score. Lester shut him down.
Well, he doesn't give up walks. He doesn't give up a lot of hits, and he just doesn't allow you to get multiple base runners on in a particular inning. He does just exactly what managers want to see. He throws first pitch strikes in the at-bats. He retires first batters of innings, and he puts up good first innings.
Well, Lester can pitch also under pressure when he's not given a lot of production. 16-1 when given a 2-run lead.
And he's just a kid. Way outside. Napoli works the count full, 3-2.
One thing you have to remember with John Lester is this is not pressure. He's come back from cancer. This is a ball game, and he's loving this.
Yeah, he said he really appreciates this opportunity even more so than Game 4 of the World Series last year.
This kid's the toughest player on the field.
Good battle with Napoli.
Last year when he was given the start in Game 4 of the World Series, everything was a first. His first game back, his first start, his first postseason start, the first opportunity. Now he's a regular. Now he's a pitcher again. You know, he's more than a cancer survivor. He's an ace of his staff with very good pitchers on the staff.
Yeah, we heard Dennis Eckersley in the studio say that right now John Lester is the best pitcher on this team.
No question about it.
High towering fly ball hooked toward left. Bay back against the wall, has just enough room. 3 up, 3 down. Lester has the shutdown inning, and he leads it in Game 4 at Fenway Park. First pitch swinging, Kevin Euclid, a ground ball to third. A low throw, close play, and 1 pitch, 1 out. How close did Mike Napoli come to hitting it over the green monster in left field?
Jason Bay, standing with his shoulder against the green monster, makes the catch. Just enough room.
That's the hardest play out here. That ball to left field. Whether you decide to stay back and make that catch or to play it off the wall. Nicely done by Jason.
J.D. Drew, the hitter, 1 for 2 in tonight's game. Much of has been and will continue to be made as long as the Dodgers are in the playoffs. The Red Sox are in the playoffs about the trade of Manny Ramirez to Los Angeles. Ron, you saw the Dodgers in their first round series as Mark Teixeira feeds his pitcher nicely. 2 quick outs. How much talk about a potential Red Sox Dodgers World Series and a potential return of Manny Ramirez here to Fenway Park?
Of course, there's a lot of talk about it, and I think Manny would welcome that opportunity. I will say that first time ever going to Dodger Stadium, and the place was full before the game started. You know how they have that late arriving crowd, so he has got those people just cheering like I've never seen Dodger Stadium crowds cheer.
And really a trade that has helped both teams. Without Manny Ramirez, I don't think the Dodgers get there, and this Red Sox club hasn't missed a beat with Jason Bay. In fact, Buck, are they a better club with Jason Bay?
Well, they're a different club for sure. I don't know if you can say they're better. Manny Ramirez may be one of the best right-handed hitters the game has ever seen, and the Red Sox will acknowledge that. But he became such a distraction because you couldn't count on when he was going to play. He said he had knee problems. He wasn't going to play. I'm not going to play for 3 or 4 days, and that put pressure on the rest of the clubhouse because guys had to come in not knowing if they were going to be called upon to be a late addition to the lineup, and that's tough to play.
Well, his first hit against the Cubs was an infield hit with great hustle down the first base line. He scored on a line drive to right field single that Boa sent him, took a chance.
Bay, and that's under the glove of Ibar. That should be an error. Hard hit ball, but Bay reaches with 2 outs, and Lackey has been very demonstrative in calling out his defense in Game 4 tonight. Let's see if there's any reaction as Bay's aboard in the bottom of the 6th.
Ibar's got enough range to get to, but watch how he lifts his glove up. He didn't keep the glove down. He was going to make that play, and he's got a cannon for an arm. And again, Lackey not hiding his emotions and not hiding his displeasure with the defense behind him.
They ruled that a hit.
Ron, you pitched a long time in the major leagues, and I know it's an emotional situation. You pitched in the World Series, but how do you handle situations like that from the mound?
Well, I think the key is that you don't handle it like that. I think you have to learn earlier in your career that, listen, everyone, we're all in this together. And, you know, when I hang a pitch and someone hits a BB and someone makes a play, pitchers forget about that. They forget about the line drive or the throw out a runner at home plate. Can't forget about those times too, because that is going to happen in the game. And one of the pure joys as a pitcher, if you're in the right frame of mind, is picking up a teammate. That's what it's all about.
Let's see if Lackey can do it now with Mark Kotsay, who's playing with a bit of a heavy heart tonight. His wife Jamie Kotsay, grandmother, passed away yesterday, and Mark was unable to be with the family for services in Carson City, Nevada. Kit Tatro was his wife's grandmother's name. She passed away, so Mark thinking about her and the family tonight in Game 4. He rolls out to first. Inning over. It's getting late in Boston. Angels trail by 2. Barry, another gorgeous night at Fenway Park. Red Sox leading, trying to finish off the Angels, and John Lester, brilliant. 6 straight leadoff men retired in tonight's game. 13 for 13 in the series, and he has yet to give up an earned run to the Angels in the series. And the first pitch swing by Rivera should be handled by Pedroia. 1 up, 1 down as we check out our Travelers mid-game recap. Excellent pitching on display tonight.
Well, just been outstanding. John Lackey's been outstanding too, but his defense has deserted him a bit. And that's the first run, of course. And then Pedroia, you knew he had to break out of that slump. Draws a line drive off that wall. Veritek scoring.
One thing the Red Sox have done is the entire lineup has produced. The bottom part of the order, Veritek, the number 9 hitter, hit a ball with a 3-2 count, and Kotsay running, goes first and third, and they were able to cash in a couple of runs in that inning.
Howie Kendrick struck out in the second inning with 2 outs, stranded 2 more men. 14 men have been stranded by Kendrick alone in this series. He led off the 5th inning and rolled out to third. Now bats with bases clear, 1 out in the 7th. If you were to put a chapter heading on this playoff series for the Angels to this point, would missed opportunities be an opportunity to title it?
No question about it. They've had plenty of chances to score multiple runs, and they haven't been able to come up with a big hit. Everybody talked about this team and how well they played in September and how well they hit in September. But they were hitting against the American League West teams. Texas has poor pitching. Oakland has a pretty good staff, but they're not really that strong. And then Seattle had a miserable season. So you look at the Angels' batting average in September, and you can discount them for the opponents they played.
Little flare behind first. Long run. Kotsay. Foul ground. Chase that down. He played that like the center fielder he is.
I tell you what, he is pumped up to be on this ball club, and watch the athleticism again. He turns and goes just like he would in center field and makes an over-the-shoulder catch with ease. Good athletes can play all over the diamond, and Kotze is certainly a good athlete. Boy, he talked about his trade when he got here. He stepped out onto the field at Fenway Park during batting practice, said, "Do you believe I get to play in this atmosphere every day?"
Well, he's on cloud 9 tonight as Ibar hits. He has one of the Angels' 4 safeties in the game. The other big story has to be the difference defensively between the Angels and Red Sox in the first 4 games.
Missed opportunities, not being able to catch the ball. Those are things that they were really staples for this Angels team.
Well, if you think about the Red Sox playing in September, they were playing to overtake the Tampa Bay Rays. They were playing against the Toronto Blue Jays and their great pitching staff, playing against their hated rivals, the New York Yankees, the final weekend of the season here at Fenway. So they played a lot of pressurized games in September. So their intensity level was very high coming into this postseason. Plus the fact they're the reigning World Series champs. They want to go back and defend the crown.
And they are staring a return engagement with the Rays square in the face as Lester back to work and comes over strike 2. This kid is, as Terry Francona said, getting stronger as the game gets longer. 107 pitches, 67 strikes, and the crowd again on its feet. What a rip.
When you see a guy like John Lester pitching late into a ball game, the hitters have had a chance to see him. They have an idea of the velocity. They know the break. They know that he'll work outside, and they still can't make the appropriate adjustments because he's getting stronger as the game progresses. 108 pitches, and he hasn't lost a thing.
Fly ball, well hit center field. Wind pushes that into the glove of Ellsbury. Time to stretch at Fenway Park, and Lester's feeling it. He's up 2 in game 4. Moran and Buck, only 2 pitchers have won their first 3 career postseason starts, all with the Red Sox. Babe Ruth did it in 1916, 1918, and Louis Tiant in 75. John Lester is positioned to add his name to that roll call as Jed Lowry lines one off the wall in left, leading off the bottom of the 7th inning at Fenway Park.
A bullet over the head of Garrett Anderson, who makes a fine defensive play here as he plays it perfectly off the wall and fires a strike back into the infield to keep Lowry from advancing.
Be interesting here in the 7th inning with Varitek up. They've used him in the past to sacrifice bunt to try to add on a run here late in the game.
That was his first bunt in the division series since 2006, and he got it down very effectively.
That was the 9th inning of game 1, and that bunt helped set up that big 2-run 9th inning that extended a 2-1 Boston lead out in Anaheim. Not bunt, driving a ball right center field, but Torrey Hunter on the run makes the play. 1 on, 1 out as we bring you moments that change the game. It's brought to you by Viagra. Game 5 of the 1986 ALCS. The Angels had a 3-run lead at home entering the 9th, but Dave Henderson's 2-out, 2-run homer capped a 4-run frame for the Red Sox. They won the game in 11 innings and then won games 6 and 7 at Fenway to take the series. What a moment for Dave Henderson. For more moments that change the game, log on to si.com/moments. Jacoby Ellsbury drove home the first run for the Red Sox on a ground out to Howie Kendrick. He fumbled the ball. Would have been tough to turn to, but any chance for that was ruined on the play. And Ellsbury with 6 RBIs out of the leadoff spot in the series. third.
Tim Wilkie, the third base umpire, standing on the foul line. That is good perspective here. This ball, boy, it looks like it goes over the bag and hits just about on the line, but it slices out of play. Never got down on the ground. Tim Wilkie, perfect position to make that call.
Snap throw to first, and back safely is Jed Lowry. Only a 2-0 game. Will Lester continue on into the 8th for Boston? You heard Terry Francona say earlier, it's all hands on deck in the bullpen tonight. And Lester gave him 7 impeccable innings. Looping line drive right at the second base bag. Step on the pillow, throw to first. Beautiful double play, and that retires the side. Well, there's the defensive pick-me-up Lackey needed. Now the bats have to do some work, and the top of the order is coming up. It's 2-0 Boston. Angels have 6 outs left to force a potential Game 5. And Hideki Okajima is on, and DHL presents the MLB delivery man. And the focus is the Red Sox left-handed relief pitcher.
Well, Okajima, this is his 3rd game that he's been in. His last appearance, a hit and an innings pitched in last night's game, 12-inning game. Okajima has had every appearance has been a hold so far in postseason for him.
And Terry Francona this year, not really sure what he's going to get with Okajima. Last year, he's much more consistent, much more reliable. He could bring him in to just about any kind of situation. This year, Francona feels more comfortable with Okajima starting a clean inning.
Fans, go to MLB.com to cast your vote for the 2008 DHL Presents MLB Delivery Man of the Year award. The Angels do not have a leadoff man on in this game. They have their leadoff hitter up, and Sean Figgins 2-for-3 in the game. A bloop and a blast could tie this thing up.
Well, that's all it takes, and certainly we have seen the Angels strike quickly.
Lester finished strong as is customary. Ron and Buck retired the last 8 men he faced. 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts over 7 innings.
We'll go to the point that Buck made. The thing about Okajima is that he's become more of a specialty lefty this season than he was last season when he would pitch an inning or 2 because of his ability to retire right-handed hitters.
Generous strike over the outside corner, 1-2.
Yeah, I think it was a real novelty, and his delivery was a bit of a distraction last year. He's got a very exaggerated head movement, and I think hitters got distracted by that last year. He only throws in the mid-80s with his fastball. It's fairly straight. He's got an overhand curveball and a splitter. But I think the league is a little more accustomed to his delivery this season. It's been a bit of a challenge for him.
Veritek, you see, slides out ever so slightly to see how far out Ed Rapuano's strike zone will be in this 8th inning. That pitch well off the plate for a 2-2 count.
If you have the stuff, though, of Okajima, and I've talked to Red Sox people about this, and you love to throw that changeup on the outside part, as occasionally you've got to be able to come in with a fastball. Rush that hitter off the plate.
Well, that's exactly the point that we made about John Lester. Since he's been able to pitch to both sides of the plate, you keep hitters a little bit off balance. When you can think just of one side of the plate, I don't care if it's 89 or 109, good hitters can catch up to it when they don't have to worry about the opposite side of the plate.
And if you pitch hitters in, occasionally get away with a mistake away, which is going to happen.
Hard hit ground ball. Pedroia's got that. Another leadoff man retired in Game 4 of this American League Division Series. Our TBS coverage presented by BlackBerry. With Ron Darling, with Buck Martinez, Craig Sager, it's getting late for the Angels. They fought back and won in 12 innings last night to stay alive in the series. They need 2 runs with 5 outs left tonight. Here's Anderson. Garrett 0 for 3.
heart of the order is going to get one more kick at the can here tonight, and you either put something together or you don't. But Vladdy Guerrero, Torrey Hunter, Mark Teixeira, all at least going to get one more at bat here.
And as the innings pile up and as the score remains in Boston's favor, there's some names on this Angel roster that there's a chance you might be seeing them for the last time in Angel uniform at the end of this 2008 season. Big decisions to make with that man, Mark Teixeira, perhaps with Vladimir Guerrero, and perhaps with K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, their closer. John Garland, whom we have not seen in this series, another potential free agent. And they don't want to go out with a whimper tonight. Ground ball again. Pedroia had him played perfectly. Two outs, eighth inning. Teixeira has grounded out, struck out, and walked.
John Lackey must be feeling like this is Groundhog Day. Certainly just like the first game he pitched. Pitched well, made a couple of mistakes, didn't have a lot of play behind him, and sitting on the losing end again.
Sometimes not how you pitch, but when you pitch. And he matched up with the wrong man, John Lester, both times. He gave up 2 runs in game 1. Lost. Because Lester hasn't given up anything in this first round matchup. And the Angels have been overwhelmed by the Red Sox in the 8th and 9th innings in their last 9 postseason games.
And that was characterized as a strength of the Angels with Arredondo, Shields, and K-Rod. And the Red Sox have handled the bullpen very well.
Okajima behind here, though. He's got to go after Teixeira here. Do not want to place him on first with a walk with Guerrero coming up. He won't have to face Guerrero, but someone will.
Teixeira's not going to swing at borderline pitches. He knows what his assignment is.
And remember, in the 5th inning, back-to-back pitches that looked off the plate. Lester argued didn't get the call on one. Teixeira was struck out on that pitch.
Same pitch right there.
Teixeira, though, an intelligent hitter, saying to himself, you know what, I can't tie up this ball game. I'll take a strike.
And he takes a walk, so the tying run potentially will indeed come to the plate as Teixeira walks for the 2nd time. Boy, he's had a very productive first ever postseason with this Angels club. So now it's Okajima.
Justin Masterson is ready down in the bullpen, and he has really pitched in some big situations for Terry Francona. He's going to get another one.
So the bullpens are very well prepared for the Red Sox. They need 4 outs. The Angels are bringing the tying run to the plate, and they're bringing on Justin Masterson to take care of Vladimir Guerrero late. TBS presents a very funny festival with a very funny lineup. See Jerry Seinfeld, Dane Cook, Cheech and Chong, and many more live. The funniest names in comedy will be at the Comedy Festival November 20th through the 22nd in Las Vegas. Buy tickets now at thecomedyfestival.com. Nothing funny about the way Justin Masterson has pitched in this series. This young man has grown up in a hurry like starter John Lester.
Boy, we were asking Terry Francona before the game today, how did you know when he was ready for big opportunities? He said, I didn't know. He just kind of pitched himself up that pecking order. Great delivery, great stuff. Very hard on the right-handers with that 3-quarter delivery. Has appeared in all the first 3 games. First rookie in Boston history to do that.
He has faced Vladdy Guerrero 3 times in this series and given up 2 hits, but the last time he faced him, he struck him out. Guerrero has only hit 1 home run in 75 postseason at-bats. That came off Mike Timlin here in 2004.
Takes a strike. Guerrero hit 27 home runs in regular season play. Drove in 91 men. Liner foul.
It's remarkable how young players in this day and age can come up with good teams and move right into postseason play and not even think jitters. We have seen it with Longoria, we've seen it with Braun, now we're seeing it with Justin Masterson. I think the reason they're able to handle the pressures of Major League postseason play is that they've all been at area code games, played in major college programs, been exposed to Friday night games in college, and this is not such a big deal like it once was. Elevate the fastball.
He did, but too high. And this, Buck, is such a unique experience. The Boston Red Sox, Fenway Park, all the recent success that they've had. This group has played together for such a long period throughout the minor leagues, and what they do with them in the offseason helps get them ready for what's expected here. Yeah,
they bring the young players like Masterson in before they make it to the big leagues and say, this is Fenway Park. Here's where you're going to have to perform.
And he misses high to Guerrero, so from 0-2 to 3-2 with Torrey Hunter on deck. He could represent the go-ahead run.
Very interesting. His stuff is so good that even Vladimir Guerrero can't react to it and swing at it. Probably see a slider here, maybe though. 3-2. Nope, going to stay with the fastball.
Ball 4. Tying runs are on in the 8th inning, and now Terry Francona starts to pace and ponder as Torrey Hunter is the hitter.
We had told you that Jonathan Papelbon is available tonight, but Manny Del Carmen is throwing right now because we're still in the 8th inning. Papelbon will come on if there's still a save for the 9th, but Francona has a little bit of a cushion in that they have a game up.
They have a game up, and he also did not want to get Papelbon up and down. When he gets him up, that means he's going to come into the game.
Yeah, he's got some bullets left for tonight, but probably not enough to get a 4-out save.
Torrey Hunter has 4 hits with runners in scoring position in the series. The rest of the Angels team has 3. And they're serenading him as Hunter falls behind 0-2. The Angels have the right man up, at least as far as the numbers go, in the 8th inning.
Sometimes you got to let the batter show you how he can approach you. Very late on that fastball away. If you go with a slider here, it speeds up that bat.
Wild pitch. And the runners move up. And now a base hit could score 2.
Cross out. Looking slider, got a fastball. It makes you feel like it's 150 miles an hour. Veritek, watch how his reaction. He's thinking breaking ball, and you can see he was expecting it to break, and it never did. Ed Rapuano is very happy that that ball missed him. Look at it go right past his shoulder. He never reacted till it was back to the backstop. Veritek gets crossed up, and it costly. A wild pitch that goes all the way back to the screen.
They score that a pass ball.
No.
On the scoreboard.
No.
Well, we're going to put a wild pitch. We're not going to listen to that.
Okay. We'll score it our way.
Yeah, exactly.
And now Veritek's going out and said, okay, let's go over the signs again, big boy. I'm telling you what, when that happens to you as a catcher, your glove feels like it weighs 100 pounds. It just won't move up in time to catch that ball.
And I guess nervousness can rear its head, ugly head, in many different ways. There, with Masterson not getting the right sign.
Huge lead by Guerrero out at second. Remember, he's got a balky knee. 1-2 pitch. And he stays alive.
Sometimes pitchers will be thinking so much about a particular pitch and they see the slider sign and they go fastball.
They don't even see it because they're locked in.
We told you the meat of the order was going to have one more kick at the can.
Here it is. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now 2-2. Mike Napoli, the catcher, waits next. He hit a couple of home runs here last night. And as we said, the Angels' Achilles heel all year long. Who can give them the big hit? Line drive, base hit. There's the big hit. Teixeira scores. Guerrero around. Drew's throw is not in time. The Angels have tied it. And nobody's chanting now. We told you Torrey Hunter was the right man in the right spot. His 5th hit with runners in scoring position. He chases home Teixeira. He chases home Guerrero. And listen to the deafening silence in Boston.
A sinking fastball on the outside corner. Boy, Vladdy Guerrero got a tremendous jump at second base, going instantly on contact and scores well ahead of the throw. Torrey Hunter stays inside the ball and cuts it into right field. Drew gets rid of it in a hurry, but Guerrero, even though he's got sore knees, gets a great jump at second. And Torrey Hunter again is pumped up as he delivers.
As big as the hit was, the cross-up was even bigger.
No question about it. For the first time in this series, the Angels have been able to take advantage of a mistake.
Mistakes by the pitching staff there. Okajima with a walk with a 2-run lead. Masterson with a walk after being 0-2 on Guerrero. And the pass ball. Wild pitch.
Maybe the inexperience wasn't handled as effectively as we thought.
There we go.
And how about Torrey Hunter, who's had some trouble defensively in this series? The big hit that quiets this crowd, and now Mike Napoli will be in launch mode against Masterson. He is 0 for 2 with a walk. Oh, he had a big cut. Strike 1.
I don't think this guy has anything but a big cut.
Hey, he hit 20 home runs.
I did, exactly.
What do you want from your catcher? A 300 average or some damage?
You want damage and you want defense first, and that's who he is.
So Lester can't win it. After a brilliant 7-inning performance, the Red Sox pen has 8th-inning trouble. And that one last kick at the can has kicked Boston right in the seat of the pants. 2-2 game.
Well, Napoli finally got some big hits in the game for the Angels. He had 2 home runs in game 3, and their catchers for Mike Scioscia this year, first in the American League combined with 29 home runs, Napoli and Jeff Mathis. They're also second with 92 RBI.
0-2 count. And this sort of bearing an eerie resemblance, guys, to what happened here last night. Lots of 2-out hits, lots of 2-strike hits. As Torrey Hunter with the signature hit in this game for the Angels.
Well, a nice job by Teixeira, who came up to the plate, knew that he could not hit a 2-run home run. He's not going to swing until he got a strike from Okajima. Never did with the walk. And Guerrero, notorious for going out of the strike zone, did not against Masterson after getting down 0-2.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And the longer this inning goes, fellas, the more likely the chance you might see the top and the middle of the order in the 9th inning for the Angels.
Get another chance again.
6th man to hit in the 8th, and all this damage coming. 2 2-out walks in a close game. Little fly ball into right, should be handled by Drew, and it is. Okajima walked to Shera. Masterson walked Guerrero, then a wild pitch and a clean hit to right ties the game off the bat of Torrey Hunter, and the Angels have new life in Game 4, a 2-2 game at Fenway Park. Bottom of the 8th inning now. The Angels have come back and have tied this game. Must-win time for the Halos, and they've got to go through now. Pedroia, Ortiz, and Kevin Youkilis, with Scott Shields on the pitch in relief of John Lackey.
Well, Shields was just filthy last night, as they will say. He was just outstanding. 2 1/3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, all on 28 pitches.
Line drive caught at second. Pedroia is retired. As we check out our Nikon D60 player profile, Dustin Pedroia is tonight's focus.
Now you take a look at Dustin Pedroia. Coming out of high school, he was undrafted. 1,485 players were picked, and Pedroia wasn't one of them. He went to Arizona State. He signed with the Red Sox, came out Rookie of the Year last year, and he led the major leagues in hits, tied with Ichiro Suzuki, 213 hits, and he has persevered. He always told everybody, I can play, and he had to prove himself every step of the way.
And he might turn those lofty numbers into an MVP award for this Boston club. It's been a rough ALDS for him. As Big Poppy down 2 strikes against a man that he really has beaten up, Ron.
Well, 4 of his last 6, 3 home runs against Scott Shields, but Shields ahead, 0-2.
And talking with Dave Maggin about David Ortiz, I asked him, when do you know he's really good and when he's really locked in? He says when he's driving the ball to the gap in left center, when he's real quiet at the plate. And we can remember back when he hit a home run off Jared Washburn up to the Green Monster seats opposite field.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The wrist still problematic for David Ortiz?
I don't think it is as much as he's just thinking about it. I think it's physically okay. We've seen the good bat speed. Remember that he hit a big double in the 9th inning of Game 2 ahead of J.D. Drew's 2-run home run. It was the difference in the game.
Even count, 2-2 from Shields.
When David Ortiz is right, he sits back and hits that breaking ball. He's just a little bit jumpy, a little bit out in front. Again, when your timing is off, you have a better chance of catching up to a fastball than adjusting to a breaking ball.
I think also when you have hurt your hands as a hitter, you don't feel as confident in waiting back, and you definitely get out in front and think that you have to generate more bat speed than you think's possible, just because the physical nature of hurting your wrist.
Well, how many times have we heard hitters talk about trusting your hands?
Wow, what a wicked breaking ball to take care of Ortiz. Couldn't check the swing. And Shields has his second out, and again, he too, Ron, like John Lester, looking for a shutdown 8th inning.
Yes, very important. And this breaking ball just starts in the middle of the plate and disappears down and in. And David Ortiz, of course, not able to hold that bat back. What's the head of the bat?
No, he swung the bat before he ever saw the break.
Yeah. Kevin Youkilis, 0-for-3 tonight. He will be the Boston third baseman throughout the rest of their playoff run. If you're just joining us, you've missed a heck of a game. You've also missed the news of Mike Lowell. He is injured. And will miss the rest of this series, and will not be able to play in the ALCS if Boston is able to move on. You know, Jed Lowry can play third base too. But Youkilis gets the start here in Game 4 tonight.
Well, we were talking to Terry Francona. It was a tough decision.
And he felt that a player of Mike's stature deserved every opportunity he could to stay in the lineup.
Now, you can play through some pain, but you can't play when you're hurt. When your body just can't allow you to perform, and that's what the case is with Mike Lowell.
There's a difference for ball players between hurt and broke. And Mike's broke right now.
He sure is broke. That's too bad.
Breaking ball struck him out. Shields shuts him down in the 8th inning and sends it to the 9th. 2-2. Lower third coming up for the Angels in a 2-2 9th inning. What a comeback by the Angels. A 2-out hit by Torrey Hunter after Teixeira and Guerrero walked through a hole on the right side to bring those runners home and tie the game. Kendry Morales will come off the Angels bench and bat for Juan Rivera here in the 9th inning. Angels have Willits, Matthews, and Morales as switch hitters. Quinlan, Wood, and Mathis from the right side on their bench.
1 for 3 in the series as a pinch hitter. That one hit came against Jonathan Papelbon in game 1.
So Masterson greets him first and misses low. Ball 1. Red Sox pen is busy. Should Masterson have any more trouble here in the 9th?
Manny Del Carmen is ready to go. He was up last inning, and now he'll just pitch along with Masterson.
That's headed toward the Red Sox dugout. And the count to Morales even had a ball under strike.
I think we've seen already how Francona has changed his mind on how to use his bullpen. Papelbon would usually be in a ball game tied in the 9th inning.
Well, he told us that before the game he would not use Papelbon in the 9th inning at home. That's what you do normally during the regular season. Bring your closer on.
1 ball, 1 strike. And 2-1. That a function of pitch count last night for Papelbon?
I think so. Just the fact it's back-to-back. They still have a game up. If this was a do-or-die situation, it'd certainly be different. But Papelbon, I'm sure, has gone to Francona and says, I'm ready if you need me. But they would just as soon not have to use him.
Two and 2. Morales, 25 years old, out of Cuba. Signed as a free agent by the Angels December 1st, 2004. His first taste of the big leagues came in 2006.
That is not hand cream. That is analgesic to keep his arm warm.
High fly ball hammered left field. That one's going to go high off the monster. Morales around first, on his way to second. He slides in with a pinch hit leadoff double. And that's the first leadoff man the Angels have put on in this game. And Reggie Willits will come on and pinch run.
Second pinch hit for Kendry Morales, and this time he goes opposite field high off the green monster. Bate plays it very well, and Morales knows it's going to be bang bang at second, but a huge leadoff double for the Angels.
9th time in this series the Angels have put a leadoff man on. They have scored in 7 of those innings. And a golden opportunity with a leadoff double. And Howie Kendrick up. He pushes a bunt toward third. Only one play, and it's made. Perfect sacrifice. Go ahead run 90 feet away and 1 out. A replay of last night's 12th inning when Kendrick sacrificed Napoli into scoring position, and he came home on an Ibar hit.
Mike Scioscia has squeezed quite often in his managerial career. Well, now we're going to get a pitching change as Perry Francona comes out. The go-ahead run's just 90 feet away after the leadoff double and the sac bunt.
Scioscia squeezed in this ballpark. They were leading 6-2, went 7-2. They won the ball game 7-6.
So Masterson departs. He has surrendered the lead and has the third Angel run potentially over at third. Go ahead run for the Angels in game 4. Just 90 short feet away with 1 out in the 9th.
Well, Manny Del Carmen, one of the many pitchers used in last night's ball game, got 5 outs with a strikeout without allowing a run. As the second half of the season, he really proved his worth to this Red Sox team. 73 games, lots of work for the young right-hander from Massachusetts.
Yeah, and he also has 72 strikeouts, and that's exactly why he's in the game in this situation. You don't want the ball put into play, you want a strikeout. Reggie Willits, the pinch runner with good speed. Remember, the squeeze is always an option, but it's really challenging for Mike Scioscia in this situation because the switch hitter Ibar will hit from the left side. The pitcher Del Carmen has the opportunity, if Ibar tips his hand early, just to throw it in the right-handed hitter's batter's box, and Varitek will be prepared. This is a challenge, but not something they can't try.
Infield way in with 1 out for Ibar, who has but 2 hits in the series. And nearly got hit.
You know, for Ibar also, it's a little more difficult from the left side. Not a lot of power, so not a guy that can really drive the ball too far in the outfield on most cases.
Well, he had the big hit in the game last night. A little flare to center, his first hit in the series, the game winner.
He take another one right now.
Nearly got hit again.
Well, last night's game, of course, in the 12th inning, just off the end of the bat, dumps it into center field. Mike Napoli scores what will eventually be the winning run.
Willits has very good speed at third. Ibar ahead in the count, 2-0. Sean Figgins waits on deck. He's got 2 hits tonight. There's the squeeze. Ball not bunted. Willits is tagged out by Varitek, and the captain rolls over the bag. Mike Scioscia's going to come argue. He didn't think Varitek had the ball in the glove when he tagged him.
And Scioscia's saying, how can you call him out? He dropped the ball. The ball came out, and Tim Wilkie said after he tagged him out, I had him tagged right here in the line, and then he fell, and the ball came out of his glove. Scioscia, of course, is arguing the point that, hey, he's got to hold on to it. And a border squeeze. Ibar bunched right through it, and Varitek does exactly what he's supposed to. Just run into the play. There, he tags him out, and the ball popped out. Boy, I tell you what, that's a tough one.
Very close call. Tags him there, falls, and the ball comes out.
Yeah, after he hit the ground, he's tagged out right there. He has control of the ball clearly, and then the ball pops out when his hand hits the glove.
So no squeeze, no run, 2 outs and a 2-2 count.
Remember, we talked about the webbing of Varitek's glove? Here it serves him perfectly well as that ball is safely in that webbing when he applies the tag.
So Ibar couldn't make contact. The Angels, Willits, run down by Varitek at third. And a slow roller right to the first base bag. Sometimes you play for a run, sometimes you lose by a run. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The tag of Willits ends an Angel 9th inning threat, and the Red Sox are coming up at home. Angels failed to execute a squeeze. Now go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And J.D. Drew, who's shown he already, guys, has a flair for the dramatic in this series, could end it with 1 swing.
He is so good. He is so quiet at the plate. And Shields will be firm. Fastball. Timing is better on a fastball than it is a breaking ball. The home run he hit against Francisco Rodriguez was a hard changeup, like a BP fastball.
Drew went around, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Do-over.
They wish they had one for the top of the 9th too. Boy, what a big play. Breaking ball. Have a seat. Shields strikes out his 3rd consecutive Boston hitter.
Eric Ibar bunts right through this pitch. He jabbed at it, never made contact, and then Veritek takes off to tag Reggie Willits. Right there, he's got total control of the baseball. The tag has been applied, and once he crashes to the ground jars the ball out of his glove. Good call by Tim Welke.
So Jason Bay, 1 for 2 tonight. Drew, Bay, Kotze, all 3 of them home run threats in a tie game in the 9th. And should we go to extra innings again, the top of the Angel order is due. Fly ball, right field line. Long run. Diving try. That's going to bounce into the stands. Oh, what a break. What a break for the Angels. If that ball gets by Willits, Bay would circle the bases.
Well, it was off the end of the bat. They were slicing away from Reggie Willits, and it hits on the warning track. There's no way Willits knows that it's going to bound out of play. He really took a gamble, dives for it, and he's fortunate that the ball bounced into the seats. If it stays on the playing field, Jason Bay still running.
He's lucky he didn't get a little piece of it also. That would have kept it down and got it to the corner. Can't fault the hustle, though.
But again, the outfield play of the Angels becomes very pivotal.
For now, it brings up Mark Kotze. And Kotze has also hit Shields very, very well. 6 for 16 in his career.
Has made some fine defensive plays at first base. Now his chance to be a hero.
Breaking ball caught. Teixeira, what a play. Kotze hit a bullet, and his former Atlanta Brave teammate robbed him of a chance, and look at that smile.
Kotze hit it perfectly. A hooking liner to the left of Mark Teixeira. We have seen this time and time again in this series. Teixeira proving why he's a Gold Glove first baseman.
Not only is he sure-handed, but that he can cover a lot of ground. As Shields appreciates the effort.
Well, that's the ultimate tomahawk chop right there. As Kotze robbed. Now Lowry. He bounces one right side. Throw, base hit. Here comes Bay around third. Willits loads up. Throw to the plate. Red Sox win it.
Jed Lowry has been a run producer for this team since he's come up. 46 during the regular season and the biggest one of the year. And here comes Jason Bay after the double down the right field line with the game-winning run. And you don't think these guys care about winning? Reggie Willis in defensively, charges, throws, but Bay got such a great jump. They had no chance running with 2 outs.
And a patient hitter, just like his hitting coach, Dave Magnan. Lowry with that big RBI. And Jason Bay was brought here to replace Manny Ramirez. That biggest hit in the night, and he winning run scored.
The Angels took their shot in the top of the 9th, and they come up a run short in Game 4. The Red Sox win it 3-2 as we join Craig Sager.
Well, the Boston Red Sox are the defending world champions, but they win this game with 2 newcomers, rookie Jed Lowry driving in Jason Bay from second base. Been watching this game all night long. All year you've been driving in big runs. What happened on that game winner?
Curveball down in the zone. I know he's got a good one, and I was just able to get a barrel on it and find a hole.
We talked throughout the evening about how the young kids come up here. You started the year in the minor leagues. They make you feel important, but they also make you feel how important it is to win here in Boston. When did you feel like, hey, I belong, I can do this?
Well, I've always felt that way, but it was just a matter of coming up here and proving it. And, it doesn't feel any better than to be able to do it here in Boston.
Well, congratulations. Jason Bay, you turned this whole series around from the time you had your first postseason experience. What's it like to be a Boston Red Sox?
It's a blast. I mean, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That ball bounced over a double, and Jed jogged me in. Just glad we're not getting down that flight going back to Anaheim.
Your first postseason experience, you've been obviously warmly welcomed by this entire nation, Red Sox nation. What's it like in the clubhouse with these guys?
It's awesome. I mean, everybody kind of gels together. There are no attitudes, no superstars. Everyone just kind of gets along, and that's why it's so much fun to come out here and run around with these guys.
You won 2 of the games with a long ball. You won this one running the base pass. But what about the play by the captain, Jason Varitek, when they tried to get the winning runner, go ahead running with that squeeze play?
I mean, that's, he's our anchor back there, and, running Reggie down as a fast runner, I mean, that speaks volumes, and, our season could have been on the line and turn it around, and boom, we got the momentum back.
When a veteran comes to a team like this and plays in the postseason for the first time, could be a little nervous, a little anxiety. How did you prepare for this moment? How do you feel about it now?
I can't prepare for it. I mean, this is something that you can dream about, but, it's only step 1 or 2 of a couple more to get where we want to go, but I can't imagine being anywhere else right now.
Have you thought at all about playing Tampa Bay?
No, not yet. We have to take care of this series first. We got a few days off to worry about that now.
You look thirsty. Go join your teammates.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
Great job, Craig Sager, and what a night at Fenway Park. The Angels gave the Red Sox everything they had tonight, but the missed opportunities again came back to bite them in that 9th inning.
Yeah, missed opportunities with that failure for the suicide squeeze, but they really played upside down, the Angels, for themselves. They didn't hit with runners in scoring position. They had faulty play defensively. I think they pitched pretty well, but just couldn't get the big hit.
Well, 14 of the Red Sox 18 runs came with 2 outs, and it just shows you their pedigree. They're the reigning world's champs. They've been down in this territory before in the postseason, and they never wavered. And every time the Angels mounted a challenge, the Red Sox answered it with big clutch hits with 2 outs.
So our American League Division Series coverage on TBS has been presented by Blackberries. The celebration begins in the Boston locker room, and it sets up an all AL East American League Championship Series. The Tampa Bay Rays are going to host the Boston Red Sox on October the 10th, and that was a very tightly contested battle head-to-head. And when we say battle, we don't mean it figuratively, we mean it literally. That was a very tough head-to-head series.
That sure was. They have really fought toe-to-toe over the history of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and now Rays when they've come into this division. This year they had a brawl here at Fenway Park. James Shields, Coco Crisp, they have played each other very tough. and it has been a very good rivalry, and it will be a great ALCS.
And we can't wait to be a part of it with you, Buck Martinez, with you, Ron Darling, with Craig Sager as well. Gentlemen, great night tonight at Fenway Park. The Red Sox win this series 3-1 by a final score of 3-2. For Buck Martinez, Ron Darling, Craig Sager, and the rest of our great crew, Chip Carey saying good night from Fenway Park. Please join us on Friday night on TBS, Game 1 of the American League Championship Series from St. Petersburg, Florida. TBS, your exclusive home for the entire series and the ALCS. Now stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly. Now to Ernie Johnson in the Atlanta studios as the party has started at Fenway Park in Boston.
It probably won't end anytime soon. Thank you very much, Chip. 3-2, the Red Sox win it, and so for the 4th time in the last 6 years, they're headed to the ALCS. So much to talk about in that game. So many big plays. If we only had a half-hour show to... Oh, we do. It's Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan, coming your way next here on TBS.
Run. Now Lowry. He bounces one right side. Throw base hit. Here comes Bay around third. Willens loads up. Throw to the plate. Red Sox win.
The 24-year-old rookie Jed Lowry knocks in the mid-season pickup. Jason Bay with the winning run. And the Boston Red Sox head to the ALCS to open up at Tampa Bay against the Rays. Friday night, we hit the air at 8 o'clock here on TBS with our exclusive coverage of the ALCS. Game 2 is Saturday. Sunday's travel, and then it's off to Fenway Park Monday, Tuesday. And if you need them after that, Thursday at Fenway Park, and then back to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg if they need it for Games 6 and 7. The ALCS is set right here on TBS. And what a way to finish the ALDS between the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Welcome to Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Ernie Johnson and Curtis Granderson, Cal Ripken, Dennis Eckersley. I don't know how much of this you can take, Eck, 2 nights in a row sitting here watching these guys.
I'll tell you, the Red Sox got us scared. They really did. You know, they blew a 2-run lead. You know, they couldn't go to Papelbon. I think they probably would have if he was, you know, hadn't gone so much the day before. But it makes it that much sweeter for them because I think they got a little scared. And you talk about the winning run on third base and an aborted squeeze play. They got to be feeling pretty fortunate.
It's amazing. Any way to come out with all the ups and downs throughout this game. Great watching as a fan. I loved watching every minute of this game. And the finish on the play at the plate like that to wrap it up, definitely a great game.
Cal, this is just postseason baseball at its best, is it not? For the emotion and things hanging on every play.
It's a great celebration and whatever else. And you know that the Boston is a good team. They figure out how to find a way to win. You know, they have injuries. They switch people around from third to first. They put them in. They used Papelbon twice. I was watching Francona, and I'm thinking, Francona's thinking, I wish I didn't use him 2 innings last night so I could use him for 6 outs tonight, and it still turns out great for them.
The Red Sox win at 3-2. If you're just joining us, you say, you guys quit yapping and show me the highlights. Okay, we're going to do that right now. So Fenway Park all lit up and ready to go for Game 4 with the Sox leading 2-1. Bottom half of the 2nd inning. Pretty swift double play right here as Kotze's doubled up at first. Game still scoreless.
Both pitchers come out throwing the ball real good. You see Lester right here with 2 guys on nobody out. A little cue shot back to him. This is a beautiful play by Pedroia. So no damage done going all the way into the 3rd inning there.
He doesn't have to hit, just play defense just like that. Yeah. Saves a run.
Top 5 now. Runners at the corners, 2 outs for the Angels. Mark Teixeira at the plate. Strike 3, right? No! He does not get the call, does John Lester. So wind up and try this again.
You're thinking the umpire's not going to give him something because he walked off the mound, but yes, he does. He hits the corner. I don't think it was strike, but I got to have it.
Identical pitch. Big series pitches out of that with him at the plate.
Still scoreless. Let's go bottom 5. Jason Varitek, full count pitch, lines it into right. Runners at the corners.
Put a little action on there. It wasn't a hit and run, but with the runners moving with 3-2 count, go 1st and 3rd right there.
And now, Jacoby Ellsbury. Not a double play ball, Cal.
It was a tough double play ball, but if you're the middle infielders, you're thinking any ground ball right now, even though Ellsbury's running, I got to get in there and try to get a double play. Maybe rushed it a little bit too much, didn't get it.
That broke the tie, and then Dustin Pedroia, who was 0 for 15, makes it 1 for 16, and it knocks in a run off the green monster.
You just need hanging breaking ball, excuse me.
Yeah, you just need one big hit right there, like you said, the hanging breaking ball.
How about the defense being played by the Red Sox in this game? Look at Mark Kotsay.
And this is a guy that doesn't play first base very often. You'll see another play of a better play later on in this game, but beautiful play by Kotsay.
Kevin Youkilis says he'll play anywhere Tito wants him except catcher. Look at this play at third.
Well, you think your first instincts are Lowe's going to be out of the lineup. You're going to might weaken him in both positions, but you can go over there and make those kind of plays. Kotsay, a great athlete, has made 2 great plays, including this one.
Yeah, over the shoulder
and catch. Remember early on in game 1 when Vlad got thrown out? And I said, Yuka was important to make that play or whatever else. Maybe who couldn't make that? Kotsay can make it.
So Lester went 7. Here we are in the 8th with Justin Masterson on a cross-up.
I mean, this is a big pitch. Even though they won this game, you look back at this, if they had lost, you know, a cross-up fastball about 96 miles an hour, moves the runners up to second and third. Torrey Hunter comes up with a huge hit. Sinker down and in. He stays on it, drives the ball the other way. He is feeling real good about himself. The Angels coming back from where they were dead right there.
And Vladimir Guerrero, you know, is looking pretty frisky there as he scores. Looks like no leg problems, no problems getting around the bases, and we're 2-2. Now, what a huge play this is with the squeeze on it. Ibar makes no contact.
Everybody's thinking squeeze. We just didn't know when they may do a 2-0 count. And you see right there, he drops that ball
after the tag.
So, you know, everybody's thinking, what, did he see this or what? I mean, is this continuation play? Does the ball have to stay in his glove all the way? Because if not, he's safe. But he did tag him, and then the ball, when he hit the ground, the ball came out.
Well, it's not like football. The ground can cause a fumble or can't. I don't even know.
The ground cannot cause a fumble here. He's out, botched squeeze, and then bottom 9, Jason Bay.
Very interesting play right here. Reggie Willits, I'm not sure if he had a chance diving for this ball. As you can see it bouncing to the stands. If he would have stayed back and maybe played it into a single, we might be looking at a different situation. But Reggie Willits is trying to catch anything he can.
Ground rule double, so Bay is at second, and here comes Jed Lowry.
No, this is Kotsay.
This is Kotsay, exactly, and the great play by Teixeira.
First pitch curveball. Everybody's looking first pitch curveball. He hammers this ball down line. Teixeira makes the play of the game. Meanwhile, first pitch curveball coming to Lowry. Next pitch, he's looking for it. Drops the head on it. Ground ball, base hit, right field. Here he comes. This is huge.
And watch Bay and watch the slide at the plate, and there is the game winner. The Red Sox heading to the ALCS. And the guy who had a chance last night to win it, Jed Lowry, when he lined out to right field. Tonight, ground ball through the right side, and the Red Sox win it 3-2 over the Angels and take the series 3-1. The Angels had won the last 6 games over the Red Sox at Fenway Park, but tonight it goes 3-2. Yeah, exactly. That says it all. I mean, waiting to exhale as we waited for that game to end.
You know, that's not your walk-off dinger piece, you know, but I'll tell you what, any kind of a walk-off to end the series, I mean, it's really special. I mean, that's the way to end it, isn't it? I mean, I would like to be a pitcher and maybe throw a shutout to walk off, but this is better for the whole team.
Oh, look at this. You got hoses, we got champagne, you got the whole 9 yards there at Fenway Park.
Who are they getting?
That's the policeman that comes out of the bullpen.
I got you.
They give him high five all the time.
Man, let's talk about some of the plays we saw in that. I mean, if you want to go back and look at the squeeze play and tell me, number one, looked like a great pitch to bunt. If all you want to do is make contact, even if it's not a fair ball in a squeeze situation, get a bat on it.
Exactly. The first 2 pitches of this bat were fastballs up and in. That's the reason why he had a 2-0 count right there. He got another ball that was in, which was a strike, as you can see as a result right there is 2-1. Just somehow got to put this ball in play away from the pitcher, allow it to run the score. Now you miss it. Now you put the action on, and Reggie Willits going back.
I'd still like to examine.
You think that's a good play?
The squeeze play?
Yeah, right
I
there.
don't mind the squeeze play. Depends upon your personnel. Socia likes it. It's the responsibility of the hitter to get that down. But I'd still like to examine this play right here. The ground did cause the ball to come out, and he did make a tag in super slow motion. You say, you know, yes, he's out. But I've seen plays at the plate. A catcher will catch the ball, and they get bowled over. He'll go this way. This guy will go that way. He'll fall back. The glove will hit the ground. Ball will fly out, and then they call him safe. So why in that situation would you be safe and you wouldn't be in that one?
Because the runner did not cause the ball to come out in this case, possibly. That would be.
Well, Socia didn't argue longer than, very long for the big play that it was.
Yeah, it's got to be a judgment call, and it probably is the right call, but every once in a while you have to wonder, what is that call?
So the Boston Red Sox win it through all of that 3-2. Now they take on the Tampa Bay Rays. in the ALCS. And here are a couple of teams. It was 10-8 Tampa Bay in the regular season in the head-to-head. At Fenway Park, the Sox were 7-2 down there Tropicana Field. It was 8-1 for Tampa Bay. And 6 of Tampa Bay's wins were by 1 run. 2 of them were by 2. I mean, this figures to be, and you saw a lot of those games.
What happened there, they exchanged. They swept a couple times at home, Tampa Bay, and then the Red Sox swept at home a couple times up there. And up until the last series where Tampa Bay went to Boston and showed them they could play with them, and they won 2 big games. In fact, they burnt Papelbon one time on a blown save. So, you know, they've sort of made their mark a little bit in Fenway Park, which just goes a long ways going into this series.
You know, one of the stories about this game tonight, before the first pitch was thrown, the fact that Terry Francona took Mike Lowell off of their roster for the rest of this series, which means he cannot play in the ALCS. It was so painful to watch him try to get around, but defensively, with him out of there, Uke goes to third, Kotsay goes to first, and the results were nothing but positive in terms of Game 4 tonight.
Well, that's certainly a big intangible. You have the ability. You have Uke, sort of a valuable all-star guy that you can put in a couple different positions and make those plays. You know, most teams don't have that. And again, they figure out a way to win. And by being able to put Kotsay in, who's a really good athlete, doesn't have a lot of experience at first base, but he used his athleticism to get to this ball and make that play. I'm not so sure Uke could have made that from first base. And right here, coming in, this is not easy. You don't practice this every day, throwing on the run with that angle coming up the line. He made it look like he does that every single day of the year. And this next one, I guess, this is the one we saw earlier, this is Kotsay over his shoulder. Very similar to that ball that Uke didn't quite get to, but got it on a one hop and then threw Vlad out at third base or whatever else. That is a really, really good combo, whatever else, and they can make they can lose Lowell and still have that great defense.
And I think you're going to see the full roster is what you're going to see. You saw it last night, I know, in extra innings, but you're going to see the full roster because of that. Because Lowell's out, you're going to see Cora come into this ball game. You're going to see everybody on that bench have a lot more to do with what happens.
The Red Sox, by the way, with just 1 error in this 4-game series that came in Game 1. Meantime, Craig Sager is in the midst of everything and caught up with a couple of members of that Red Sox pen.
Well, Jonathan Papelbon and Justin Masterson, the 2 big closers now for the Boston Red Sox. 2 of the biggest celebrators, too, you know. Defending World Series champions, but I guess it never gets old.
Oh, man, this never gets old, man. This is what we play the game for. This is what makes it fun. That's right.
You're such an integral part of the series early on, the win, the save. You pitched last night. A lot of people in the stadium wanted to see you come up tonight and come in there in relief. Did you have it? Were you ready to play?
I always got it, baby. Always got it. You can't stop us. You can't stop us.
A pressure situation for a kid like you. Started out with the Portland Sea Dogs. How were you able to obviously work your way up into the rotation to the point where everybody had confidence in you, particularly Tito?
I'm not real sure how it happened, you know, but it didn't work out like I wanted to, but it gave a chance for Jed Lowry to get a game-winning hit so we can win.
Man, I sure hope that didn't ruin Sager's sport coat. So the celebration continues at Fenway Park, and the Red Sox move on to play the Tampa Bay Rays. We'll have the highlights of how Tampa Bay finds itself in the ALCS right after this.